evening and a warm welcome to Lords for this huge London derby. It's Middlesex against Surry. We're getting to the business end of the Vitality Blast. And Middlesex looking to avenge that defeat 9 days ago at the Oval. My name's Dave Fulton, got Isabel Westbury alongside me, who's been ever present for these Lords matches for Middlesex. And Izzy, huge game tonight. You've seen every game that Middlesex have played here. What have you made of them so far?
Well, it feels like only a few hours ago that we were walking away from the pitch in a glorious Middlesex victory against Hampshire. It really was a very good team performance, sort of a below-par score. We thought perhaps going into the innings break, Middlesex making 142 for 6, but it was sort of my captain, Stephen Finn, with his 3 for 27, and ably helped by Tom Helm, who really looked as though he'd almost been progressing with his pace over the course of this blast, but it was the seamers that came out on top. In a low-scoring game, Hampshire bowled out for 1, 2, 3, so I think from Middlesex' perspective, it's more of the same.
Yeah, we're going to have a look at that.
Partner midway through the fourth over with a score on 33, the batsman on his way for a dozen. The remainder of the power play brought no boundaries, Middlesex ending it on 43 for 1. Indeed, this 4 by Dan Lincoln was the only one in the space of 8 overs. Eskenazi became a little stuck before departing at the hands of Mason Crane, gone for 33, as his side stuttered to a score of 68 for 2 at the halfway stage of their innings. A rethink regarding what a good total would be had to be done once Lincoln hauled out off Crane after making 19.
You know, if you're going to be out, you might as well be out by 5 yards as opposed to 3. He's never the quickest between the wickets, Amler, but he would have been gone.
Helm again. And this one's cut nicely. That's beyond the dive of Holden. He'll get 4 runs for that straight away. The boundary just a little bit in from the advertising hoarding edge, about 5 or 6 yards or so. He timed that beautifully. A safer few runs there for Surry, and Amler, of course, 37 years young. You say he wasn't the best in his prime between the wickets. I'd say that may have slightly regressed since.
Yeah, he might not be the best between the wickets, but he's still a class act with bat in hand, Hashim Amler, all the time in the world. 75 against Kent earlier in this competition, and that was a classy shot.
This one down the leg side. I wonder if he just got a pad on that or something. There's no signal from the umpire. No one went up.
Yeah, umpire just tapped his right hip, suggesting it might have just clipped his thigh pad, I think. If that had missed everything, he would have been arms outstretched. Tom Helm just got to settle into a line and length here.
Yeah, something Helm's been struggling a little bit with over the course of this tournament. A few wides to his name. But once he gets going, he can be really threatening. That's more like it. Bring out a solid forward defence from Hashim Amla. 159 T20s he's played. He's been around 4,407 runs, an average of 31.
Field change already. Out comes the slip. Stevie Eskenazi being moved into mid-wicket. You'll see that towards the back end of an over.
Oh, it's full. And a flash of the bat, outside edge, and it's beaten the man at third man. Sliding round to his right. Murta there trying to get round to it. There's another one whose sea legs have been through a fair bit.
I think the rope's in quite a long way, isn't it? With the development that's going on at the nursery end of the ground. You've got the covers down there as well. So I think that boundary rope, which seems to creep in year on year, is as close as it's ever been. Murta had no chance.
That's nice and full driven. Doesn't beat Finn at mid-off. Yes, we're playing on the same pitch as we were on Saturday, even though it does look brand spanking new. In fact, you can't even see the footmarks. That's what kind of surprised us. But the boundary rope is definitely a few yards further in than it was when we played on Saturday. I'm pretty sure it was right up against the advertising hoarding over the weekend. So a shorter outfit. Maybe they felt there weren't enough runs scored. They want to add to that total. See a few fireworks at Lords. 10 off the first over, that helps.
Yeah, good start for Surry. Could have had a run out, but unscathed off that first ball. And then Amla showing what he's all about with a couple of boundaries. A bit of flashing away outside off stump. Those wrists to good effect. We're going to see Tim Murtaugh, who I've seen him bowl a lot here over the years, seems to operate almost exclusively from the nursery end, doesn't he? Use the slope, try and get some away movement.
It's veteran's prerogative. Veteran to veteran, as Amla plays us onto the onside, no run. Well, the last match against Hampshire saw Murta drafted in when Holman went down in the warm-up, so he wasn't expecting to play. He was in the squad, and then we saw Murta play his first T20 match for Middlesex in 4 years. And he didn't do half badly, as you might expect. 2 for 20 from his 4. Here he is again. This one's down the leg side, turned to fine leg, no run. And picked up the wickets of Joe Weatherly for a duck. Then Fuller for 34, so some key middle order wickets. Nice and tight as always.
Just thought when at the outset of 2020 it's going to be a young man's game, but 76 years between these two doing battle in the middle of the moment, Tim Murtaugh and Hashim Amla. We've seen that experience can count for a lot in this shortest format.
Back over the bowler's head. That's a nice looking shot. Hasn't quite timed it, doesn't matter. Runs away to the boundary. 4 runs, 14 without loss. Stand and deliver, Hashim Amla.
So as you say, it's the same pitch as a couple of days ago. How did it behave then? And these early signs that it looks a decent track, although Middlesex certainly managed 142 and defended it fairly comfortably. Some signs that it with the sun on it might have improved it.
Bit of respect showed that one. Quick single. Holden again, the man trying to see if he can get the run out. Not this time. 15 for no wicket. Yes, it was a funny pitch because it looked good, and you felt as though the way in which Eskenazi and Holden have started things off for Middlesex over Middlesex was that 30 not out of by Simpson. And for Hampshire, it was Tom Alsop at the top of the order with 43, and otherwise only one other man making double figures, that and James Fuller. So it was a stop-start wicket, sticky one, difficult to get going. But as you say, the sun's been beating down over the last couple of days. Nice from Holden again, backward point, no run. So 2 overs gone here on this glorious London evening. 15 for no wicket. Surry, Amler even is on 14, and Jack's there on 1.
Yeah, we've seen time and time again, haven't we, in the Blast over the years, but especially in this 2020 campaign, taking the pace off the ball, slow bowlers, spin. It's been tough on groundsmen because they've had Bob Willis Trophy matches, and then these Blast games coming thick and fast. Tough to get the preparation that some surfaces need. Just looking at Surrey's economy rates for their bowlers, the top 4, Batty, Jacks, Moriarty and Borthwick, range between 5.75 runs and over and 6.66. 4 leading their economy rankings are all slow bowlers.
Slow bowlers.
So I think that'll be a feature tonight.
This is something we haven't seen so far, is Finn entering in the power play overs. Here he is, right arm over, slightly wide of the crease. Amler there, I think, anchoring for the wide, he's got it. The umpire signals a delayed reaction, signals to the scorebox over at Father Time. So this is the first time I think we've seen Finn bowl in the power play, certainly at home. He tends to come in around the 7th, 9th over. He's done very well there, of course, leading Middlesex in the wicket takers column.
Yeah, I like it though. It's a positive move. It says Middlesex are going for wickets.
Oh, a big flash there from Amler. Finn gets the better of him, and he's followed through a bit of a stare, possible, a few words maybe as well.
From Stephen Finn. Nonsense.
Don't tell me.
He's the nicest fast bowler in world cricket.
I
I'd have offered him a bit of a helpful advice about the slope here at Lord's. That would have been the extent of it, I'm sure.
I'm sure I've heard about 10 different men that have been called the nicest men in cricket. They can't all be the nicest men in cricket. Come on. Slower ball, and this one's up over the top. That infield runs down to the boundary. Nicely weighted there from Amler. Class batter that he is. And he's picked up 4 for it, 20 for no wicket.
Yeah, quality shot from Hashim Amler. Looks a decent touch, doesn't he? Just thinking of the nicest men in cricket. Quite a lot of them in the England team at the moment. I think Chris Wokes and Josh Butler will be right up there. Stephen Finn will be far behind. Good fellas as well as very fine players.
Here he is again. This one, again. Amler waits for it well. Beats the infield but hasn't quite got the timing, and it plugs beyond the clutches of mid-off. Picks up 2 for it. Amler happy to play his shots.
And perhaps, all teams do their homework, don't they? And they would have looked at the scores on this same surface from a couple of days ago, and they might think it's easier to get the runs up top. Go hard in the power play when the field's up, because it's only going to get harder.
Must have hit bat hit in the ground there. It was definitely a sound as it flew through to the keeper. No one really went up. It's one of those you had to wait and watch the reaction before seeing whether a wicket opportunity might be in there. It's wide and full, a real concerted plan here from Finn to Amler. I think he knows how much he likes those front foot drives. Don't let him play at it. This one's off the back foot. Just beyond Holden there at backward point. I think the fielder will just about reach it before it runs down to third man. He does indeed a comeback for 3. Good running here. The Surrey men.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about his plan at the moment, is he? I'm not going to lie to you. Stephen Finn's bowling width outside off stump. It does look like it's a plan to Hashim Amler, but the 2 men back on the fence are a deep square and deep mid wicket. So why would you bowl wide outside off stump when all your offside fielders are up? Surely if you've got your 2 men back on the leg side, you'd want to bowl gun barrel straight.
The poker player too, maybe. Double bluffing. Oh, bit of an invention there from Jacks, trying to scoop one over his shoulder. In the end, I think he toe-ended it, and nothing happened, didn't he? After that, so at the end of 3 overs, Surrey at 25 for no wicket.
on screen there. Hashi Mamla getting Surry off to a decent start. He will Jackson start the strike, just 1 from 4, and 23 off 14. Decent start.
Berta continuing from the nursery end. This is thrashed into the onside. Hits it well on the bounce, just the single. Brings Jackson on strike, as you say. Start of the strike.
Exciting player, Will Jacks. I haven't seen that much of him. He's rated very highly. But Surry, he likes to put back to ball. He's got all the shots with the improvisation. We saw that little scoop that he tried at the end of the last over. I'd like to see him just start with proper cricket shots.
Jacks puts away and then gives himself room, and this flies into the offside. I don't know how he's managed to do that, but it's 6 over cover point. That's a glorious looking shot.
The kind of shots I'm talking about. Forget the scoops. He's a strong man. He's got long levers. He's tall. He's powerful. He just gave himself a little bit of room outside leg stump. Smoked that one over extra cover. And straight into the empty stands, which has been a feature, isn't it, of this campaign? Players got to go and fetch the ball back. It slows things down a bit when it gets lost between the seats.
Again making room for himself, and again playing this into the offside. It's back at a point, 4 runs, 2 deliveries, 10 runs for Will Jackson. Well, I mean, his strike rate tells a tale of itself. 146 in this format. And he may only have a top score of 63, but my goodness, he races out to the blocks.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what Tim Murtaugh makes of it all. He's been drafted in for this short form. We're used to seeing him in red ball with 3 slips and a gully and bamboozling batsmen. Now these pertinent youngsters just backing away outside leg stump and thumping him to all parts. It's a lack of respect. It's
funny though, because Murtaugh's had a sort of tale of 2 careers in a way. Is that right arm over, and Jacks plays this again, back on a point, and there'll be 4 more, I think. It is indeed, no fielder out there. So we've had a flurry of boundaries across these last 3 deliveries. Jacks playing with freedom, invention. Yeah, Murtaugh, I think for Middlesex, I guess we're completely used to him playing with a red ball. But of course, everything he's done for Ireland until they made their test debut last year has been with a white ball. So, okay, you could argue it's slightly different playing white cricket at an international sort of associate level. But he does have some skills. He has experience at this format, certainly. And it's one of those, I think I was chatting about this watching the Australia-England match. Someone like Josh Hazlewood, who you see as a sort of classical red ball bowler, who's just so good at banging in that line and length. Yes, he does have a few tricks up his sleeve, but he's not a sort of change every ball kind of delivery. And sometimes, you know, white ball teams, I reckon, have room for somebody like that.
Well, you've certainly got room for someone like a Josh Hazlewood, but he's bowling nearly 90 miles an hour. Tim Murtaugh's more kind of mid to late 70s.
Jackson quite times the sharp and on-striker then, but he makes his ground pretty easily. He's fast between the wickets as well.
But I hear what you're saying about his skills. He certainly has those skills. He has that experience with Ireland. He has experience just by virtue of the fact he's played, looking at his numbers here, he's played 211 List A games. He's played 103 T20s, Tim Murtaugh. So he's not a novice, but it was his first run out for a while for Middlesex colours a couple of days ago. And Middlesex do have an embarrassment of riches in the quick bowling department. All bases covered, you think, with the spin options as well. So, and I think they wrap him up in cotton a little bit because they know what he can contribute in the red ball game. But with the Bob Willis Trophy campaign done, why not put him to good use?
Well, expensive so far, unusually so. That's how it's going to continue from the pavilion end. We saw the Stephen Finn experiment come in for an over. He was hit for 10 runs. So they've decided to revert to Tom Helm. Well, it's been even share of the spoils so far. Each bowler's been hit for 10 runs per over each. There you go.
Yeah, I can't see. I mean, 200. My maths could do that, but you'd think a bit of spin. I think that'll be the key. Get out the power play for Middlesex and take the pace off.
Thick inside edge from Jacks, trying to carve it into the offside. And down to Souter at backwards square.
Right, let's have a look at these plans to Hashi Mamla then. 2 men back on the leg side fence. It's a short boundary down towards the tavern side, but the the other direction. The rope is in some 15-20 yards, so it's not a long boundary. But I think with this field, Tom Helm has to be back on off stump. He can't be any wider.
Here he is again. This one, a miscued shot there from Ambler. He cries and catch it. Helm couldn't get down in time. Really is a lovely, lovely evening. Flag to our left along above the grandstand, the MTC flag fluttering slightly. Nice breeze to a very sunny, hot day.
Yeah, it's the sad thing is now, you can come to Lords, or I don't know if you're going to Canterbury, you've had lovely weather in the last week. Just think 28,000 people would have been witnessing this. Hope you're enjoying the stream coverage. Hope to get you back before too long.
Helm, back of the hand, weighted nicely by Ambler, but just the single takes that strike. It's 25. Then again, at least we've got cricket.
Yes, we've got cricket, and we still want to hear from you as well. Do get your tweets in to us at Middlesex_CCC. Comment on our Facebook page at Middlesex Cricket using the hashtag #NightFrankPOTM if you want to vote for your player of the match, Middlesex player of the match, of course. So, keep telling us what you think.
Other back of the hand, Jack's trying to play it into the onside. I think that's the first delivery he's faced from Helm. Ambler hogging most of the strike down that end before.
Yeah, it's got good variations, Tom Helmers. He's excellent at the death. Got the Yorkers, got that back of the hand slower ball, which, of all the variations of slower ball, seems to be the most effective. Ian Harvey, Steve Waugh back in the day, I think was one of the pioneers of it, but Ian Harvey took it to a new level. And just harder to spot than the off cutters and the leg cutters, that one that rolls out the back of the hand. The Helm bowls it nicely.
Orange shoals away from us, and this one, well, bowls it nicely, but that one, it's a little bit too short. It held up, and Jax has ploughed it over the boundary on the offside. That's a beautiful looking shot, a helicopter kind of shot. And it means that after 5 overs, Surry sitting pretty, I feel. 49 for no wicket.
Yeah, we'll find out what Stephen Finn's made of from a captaincy point of view. You've seen him a few times. You've made of him, is he? But this is where captains earn their corn. Thinking of the one-day international last night when we saw, I thought, a captaincy masterclass from Owen Morgan, who knew when to bowl Jofra Archer and Chris Wokes out in the middle. I thought it was just an exhibition of how to captain.
He reminded me of a conductor, just sort of knowing when to bring in the different instruments. The orchestra, it was a sight to behold. I always like beating Australia as well. And Stephen Finn is going to come in from the nursery end, and this is a beautiful whip off the legs by Hashim Amla. It was over pitched there from Finn. And that's flown away to the boundary for a 1 bounce 4. It's a 50 partnership up. In no time, 32 balls. Over 23 and sorry, Amla 29, Jack's 23. That was gorgeous. Again, it just shows that margin of error in T20 cricket. So small. Finn, what's he going to do in reply? Full again. Yorker length. He's dug it out for a single.
I guess traditionally we think of most captains, big batsmen, don't we? Think of Owen Morgan. He doesn't have to worry. He doesn't have those twin responsibilities of captaining and having to bowl. So you've got Stephen Finn here as a team getting smacked around the park. He's got to know when to bowl himself. He's got to set the field as well and charge in. There's a lot of things for him to contemplate right now because it's not going too well.
Misfield by Holden there at backward point. Gift Surry a single.
Going back to Morgan last night, just so much of one-day cricket and 2020 cricket is formulaic. You hold them at the start, you hold them for the overs at the end, your Archers and your Wokeses, but you just recognised that wasn't the play last night. He changed it up.
Amla advancing down the track. Doesn't get it away. A rare dot ball.
From a Middlesex perspective, I'm sure Owen Morgan all of these lads would have played with, some of them for a number of years, you'd like to think that that's going to rub off on them, that Stephen Finn would have watched Owen Morgan captain for England, probably played under him when he's been captaining here at Middlesex. Would have talked over a beer, cricket, until later in the evening. I think he can pick quite a lot up.
Amler gives himself room, scoops this over his left shoulder, one bounce for down to a very fine leg, bit of innovation there. That was a gorgeous shot. Signals the 4:59 without loss. Amler moves to 34.
And I would imagine it's quite lonely at the moment for Stephen Finn. He hasn't got a home crowd roaring him on. There's not too much advice coming his way from mid-on, mid-off. He's got to do all the thinking himself. And he's got to run in and bowl. He's just pushing fine leg back. He's had enough of Hashim Amla just scooping him over that short fine leg. So up comes mid-wicket. I think that's a good move. You don't mind if a batsman plays a crunching poor shot, but these little flicks, you want to try and prevent them going for 4.
Final delivery is over, a dot ball. So, the end of that Stephen Finn over, the end of this power play, the end of the 6th over. Surry find themselves 59 without loss.
So the obligatory hand sanitizer break. Surry sitting pretty, 59 without loss. Both batsmen going nicely. Jacks is 24 from 14, Amler 34, just 22. How is Stephen Finn going to try and stem these runs? What he's going to do it through spin. That looks like the familiar figure of Nathan Souter. He's gone well in this competition. There's many spinners. Does he remind me of what happened Saturday? It was the introduction of the likes of Mason Crane that just put the brakes on that Middlesex innings, so they'll be hoping they can do likewise to Surry.
Yeah, it was Mason Crane partnership with Ian Holland in the middle orders that really slowed things up. Nathan Souter hasn't got a partner in crime in the spin department. He's had a pretty good go of it so far. Beautiful caught and bowled catch as well.
So it's going to be the Australian leggy. He's going to be bowling to Will Jacks. And a play and a miss. So good early signs. Interesting to see what shots Jacks employs. Reverse sweep has been very popular in 2020. Just a single down the ground.
Yeah, it was a lovely return catch he got to dismiss Tom Alsop at the top of the order for 43. Just diving to his right, and it was a very neat tumble. It all just, everything went perfectly. It flowed. There's a key wicket as well.
So good start from Souter. Short to Hashim Amla, who's cutting, and this is running away. It's going up the hill, and it beats the man on the fence.
जो नंबर लाई दिता है लेने तो वेंदे रंग बंदे तुम जगह बैटरी लो तो बत्ती जलेगी ना कोई चले बाकी वो बैल लाई जाऊँ दे 4-5% हो मुकाम
Actually, I remember watching Souter start to break into the Middlesex team a few years ago now, bowling a lot flatter, almost because of those nerves, isn't it? You just don't want to be hit.
Jack's giving himself room and he's cutting. Well fielded on a deep cover fence.
And Souter,
Jack Davis, he's got from deep point to deep point. I think that's a long way across this ground.
specialist fielders, make them run.
That was driving a good looking shot and well picked up. And an extra cover, and that is what Middlesex are going to need.
Yes,
This Knowlesy, yep, very good. Just a single dropped into the offside, but decent over this from Luke Holman. Breaks being applied ever so gently.
Yeah, it's one of those, I think, Souter is sort of involved in the game. He's got the confidence now to flight up a little bit more.
Short outside off stump, and cutting is Will Jacks in front of extra cover. It's probably just going to be the single. Hamler not the quickest between the wickets. He's not going to hair back for a second, so decent over from Luke Holman. Surry, though, we're pretty happy with the progress they've made so far. 71 without loss after 8. Represents something of a foundation. Powerful middle order. It's coming off unbeaten 80 at Chelmsford. 88 unbeaten off 52. 7 fours, 4 sixes. Give it a thump. Jamie Overton made 30 in that game. Down the order, so they've got plenty of power still to come.
That's sort of the most onerous. Amla hasn't really fired, particularly when 75 against Kent, but otherwise, the middle order have really done it for Surrey. They yet to come.
Folks play well, didn't he, in that first fixture? Sounds to continue. A big hit over the leg side. He's got a good piece of that. As Will Jacks, it's another maximum to him. Wasn't a bad delivery from Souter. Showing absolutely zero respect. Just thumped him over mid-wicket. He moves on to 34. Sorry, 77 without loss. Well, Devon, I'm just checking. Plastic seat, perhaps stuck in it. Perfect. Sounds is thinking. James has got the power. That's a good delivery. Maybe you're wrong. It's cramping him for room. Come back. Many in today. The photographer. He's gone again. Big slog sweep. Didn't get all of it. Jack Davis staying down there on the tavern side of the ground. It was. There we go. Orange wristband, that's the key. If you're walking around London, you've got an orange wristband on, you can try your luck. Fancy your chances. Souter. Hamlet down the wicket. He's launching straight, but he's just going to pick out Anderson, who returns to John Simpson. Like he was bent on something a little bit more savage, Hashim Amla, as he almost cat-like danced down the wicket. Jack's cutting, and that's going to be boundary. Just a quicker one from Souter. He just leant back, Will Jacks. Bit of an open blade. These boundaries keep coming.
There's been a couple of days that they just pushed them into the offside, where it's back on a point. For a bowler, you think, oh, you can get that, you can get that. It's running away, it's a fast outfield. These two playing elegantly. Really big partnership now for Surrey.
Souter once again. Jacks is cutting. Bit of fielding at backward point. Finishes the over with a dot. 83 without loss. Off 9, so sorry, above 9 runs per over. You think at this stage they'd be looking at about 180, 190. It's a decent pitch. Any signs that it's playing differently, is he, from a couple of days ago?
Holman then to continue.
That's what Middlesex need. A few more dots. Hashim Amla. 43 with Jack's 39. He's down the wicket. Amla just driving. He's going to get a single. Holman has started nicely.
So every bowler has gone at pretty much 10s apart from Holman. He recovered from that ankle injury.
Don't speak too soon because Jax is up and over, and this is going to be 6. So the curse of Westbury strikes from a Middlesex perspective. As Jax advances and launches that.
Don't say that, I'll be a figure of hate on the comments. I got a bit of stick for not picking up any wickets the other day, so it's not going particularly well.
Well, they're waving, I think, for a new ball. I don't know if this has happened much with the ball. Do they have to get a new one?
I think because if it goes over the boundary into the building site, that's a definite no-go zone. Once the ball's in there, that's it. We need a new one. I think it did, didn't it? Bounced over the.
So when the ball goes in there, you just can't get it back. That's just a no-go zone.
You're not allowed at all, and it's difficult for a cricket ground that's hosting a T20 match.
Yeah, we just got to have a large box of balls and give up on trying to get it to reverse, because you know as soon as it just starts to reverse, someone's going to whack you in there and you've got to get a new ball.
Makes me think of one of the key English legal cases on negligence is set in cricket case law. It's about how many balls being hit over a garden fence constitutes negligence by the club. It's a very famous case, Bolton and Stone in the High Court in the 1950s. It makes me think of this one. You're not getting your ball back.
There we go. Middlesex fans listening to the stream, getting a little bit of case law from back in the 50s. That's what you get with Izzy Westbury on commentary. Cerebral stuff as Holman's in again, and Jax is going big. That ball didn't last long. I'm not sure we'll be getting this one back as it goes just underneath the media centre. Is that a no-go zone? Can they throw that one back?
That's it again. It's still in the building site, so I'm afraid that poor Surry subfield is going to have to come on with another box of balls. They're going to run out of them at this rate.
Well, this is the question, because what constitutes negligence in some sort of 50s case law, and I'm not worried about the negligence angle, I'm just worried about how many balls we've got in our boxes here at HQ. Because, I mean, there's going to come a point when we run out of balls if Will Jacks keeps doing this. He's successive 6s.
Does preparation constitute having, 120 balls in the bag, just in case?
Just in case everyone goes for 6. Well, I think you probably get away with 10 or 12. You probably think you've got most. It's like a golfer. I take quite a lot of golf balls in my golf bag because I know I'm bound to lose quite a few. Will Jacks is launching 3-woods down the ground at the minute. This time he goes for the cover drive. He'll be pushing 2 here. Ambler not the quickest, but he's coming back. He's going to have to hurry. Throw comes in to the bowler's end. Ambler scurries back for 2. So good over this from a Surrey perspective. 6, 6 and 2.
Yes, from Holman's perspective, he's catching up with the run rate.
Yeah, he thinks maybe he should be going at 10s because all his mates are. He's bowling once again to Will Jacks, who kind of top spin forehand cross court through down to mid wicket. This time it's just going to be the 1.
So after 9 overs, or 10 overs even, Surrey a 99 without loss. Well, Surrey got off to a very good start indeed. 99 without loss. Not only runs, but no wickets either. Jack's there on 54, Amler on 44. Each Middlesex bowler going in around about 10s as Murtagh take things up from the pavilion end. I straight and prodded into the onside. He's going to have to field up his own bowling. He's running around a bit.
Well, that was hilarious because Ambler could have got 2 there. Tim Murtagh was after it. He was going to be the closest man to it. Will Jacks had just pushed that beautifully into the onside. That kind of thing that you try when there's no No one in the infield. You just knock it kind of half speed and scuttle back for two. But I think Amler fancies a little bit of Tim Murtaugh. Battle of the Golden Oldies.
It's just Amler. He's thrashed that into the offside. There's a man out at cover point. Sorry, now past the 100 mark.
Superstitious I am of 101.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the only thing.
11, is that?
No, 101 for me, room 101. I stayed in
right,
rooms,
okay,
hotel
okay,
rooms, consecutive away matches for Kent some 20 years ago, and I didn't get to 3 in either match.
Murtaugh, this is high in the air. There's a man underneath it, a long off, and he's taken it on the second attempt there. It just hung for such a long time. It was Luke Holman. He had, 3, 4, 5 seconds to watch it. And there was Will Jacks, who's careered to 55 from 29. And he almost fumbled it. We've got the first wicket for Middlesex, and it's a much-needed one. Surry, 101 for 1.
Yeah, the end of Jack's big wicket. Well done, Stephen Finn, reintroducing his old mate Tim Murtaugh into the attack. Looking to launch him straight, as Jacks did to good effect in the last over. Holman juggled it, but was grateful to cling on. So, opening stand, 101 strikes. I told you it was a dodgy number. Good news for Middlesex. There's plenty of batting power to come. Looks like Laurie Evans to the crease, and he's in good touch, coming off that unbeaten 88 against Essex at Chelmsford in their last match. Tim Murtaugh showing all his experience, perhaps a little bit of pace off. Getting it full, making him hit straight. Longer boundary down to the pavilion here at Lord's.
Amler's on strike as they, of course, cross, and this one's thrashed back at the bowler. Murtaugh stuck a hand out, but didn't have much of a chance, really, and they've come back for 2. Yes, get Jacks out, you bring in Evans, as you say, he's in fine form. Posing prospect for any bowler. Amler reaches, or nearing his 50. 103 for 1. Shouts of catch as Amler there. Misses his balance. Falls over to the onside, but nothing on it. Floodlights now coming into their own as the sun just disappears behind us. Beautiful orange tinge to the sky. Still nice and warm. This might be the last of it. To get towards the winter, here comes Murtaugh. It's played nicely placed between extra cover inside the ring and point out the boundary edge. Stalls in the ground. Amler moves to 48. We're going to see Evans face his first ball, but he's hooked the strike again. He's good at doing that, Amler. 48 from 36 balls. Sorry, 104 for 1.
Yeah, Middlesex striking in that last over. That's exactly what they needed to get rid of Jacks. He just looked like he was going pedal to the metal, didn't he? He's been losing balls. That'll please whoever's responsible for that box of balls. He's gone.
Holman's going to continue persevering with him. As inside out comes Amler, and there's an attempted catch down on the cover point boundary. I tell you what, it would have been a pretty cracking one if he'd managed to get to it, Jack Davies. He was sprinting to his right. It was about head high, but he just couldn't get there in time. And it means that it's 6 runs to Amler. He gets his 50. 54 from 37 deliveries. It's been quite the knock so far, but that one was just tempting. It was horrible there for the fielder. You just thought, maybe I can get there. Not this time.
Yeah, I think he picked it up a little bit late, Izzy. I think he might have thought that Amler was coming down the pitch, hitting it more towards long off. He sliced it a bit with an open blade. He was in with half a chance, but you're right, it would have been a cracking catch had he got it in his right mitt.
Holman flatter to Amler. Takes it cleanly on the return. One bounce into his hands. Somebody, or it might be a builder, or whoever clears the building side out, going to find a whole host of things. Down the track advances Amler. Get to the pitch of the ball, thinks about 2. Evans says, no thanks, I want to have a share of this. I want to go.
Yeah, lightning bit of work across the turf from Max Holden at mid-wicket, preventing the second run. Yeah, you're right about those my balls aren't cheap. There was one that was only a ball old, wasn't it? I mean, it wouldn't have been a new one, but you didn't see a lot of use today, that's for certain.
Should we see them pop off on eBay at some point then?
Well, I go golf ball scrumping with my sons. We go into the woods at Faversham Golf Club where if you walk down the side of the 11th, you find a lot of golf balls. We take a bucket down there, go down there about 8 o'clock at night. Like about 50 or 60 sometimes.
Evans to face his first ball. Nicely played, nicely fielded. And what do you do with them? Do you get sort of, you sell them or get a refund or a...
Well, I work on a theory that I'm going to be,
Oh,
I'm going to be giving them back
Right,
the next time I play, so I just stick them in my golf bag the next time.
Flatter, plugged down the ground by Evans. He'll be off the mark with a single.
You find some good ones in there. Actually, I could imagine a workman just pocketing 4 or 5 almost new white cricket balls.
Final ball of this over. Patted back at the bowler. Now it was a better one from Holman after being smashed for consecutive 6s in the previous over. Strong reply.
So 112 for 1 after 12. So that's Laurie Evans marking his guard. Been in good touch. A man who started his career at Surry, went up to Warwickshire, down to Sussex. He's been all over the place, but highly thought of, especially against the white ball. Extremely dangerous.
Murtaugh's going to finish his 4 overs. Misfield. Deep mid-wicket. Gives Evans 2 runs. Should have been a single. That won't help Middlesex, especially the rate that Surrey are going. Wickets in hand, they're going at almost 9.5 and over. 142 is the total that Middlesex set that first innings here on Saturday. So far it's going to be an imposing one they'll have to chase. Nicely weighted by Evans. The 1 to his name. So we've seen Finn bowl 2 overs, and he bowled 2 sort of 1 over spells in his power play overs. That means that when we've seen him able to bowl his full complement outside the power play in the middle overs of 4, we don't have 2 to play with now. We'll see him back in the thick of things. This one's played wide. Holden again. Busy man out there at cover point.
Yeah, he's one of the standout fielders, isn't he, Max Holden? He's got a good arm on him. He's quick across the turf. He's fairly low to the ground as well, so he gets that ball in quickly. Middlesex, I don't think have been quite at their sharpest tonight in the field. He's been an exception. He's led the way.
Floated, full delivery from Murtaugh. No run is a course, like misfield tumble there from Eskenazi, but just pounces on it before Surrey can think of a single.
Just looking at some of the teams Laurie Evans has played for. T20 franchises around the world. Dhaka Platoon, Molten Sultans, Rajani Kings.
Back over the bowler's head. 1 bounce, 4 into the pavilion. That's a glorious looking shot.
Yeah, you can see why with shots like that. Laurie Evans, a man in demand around the world in franchise cricket. Very clean striker of a cricket ball. Perhaps hasn't played IPL or Big Bash cricket. Just the kind of tier down from that. And those franchises around the world, but he's a fine player when he gets going.
Murtaugh to Evans. Final ball of the over. He'll retain the strike. pushes it into the offside. Surry, after 13 overs, 7 overs left of this innings, setting up a very good platform indeed. They're 121 for 1. Amler has passed his 50, but Evans, the danger man, is certainly in form. What do you do here if you're Middlesex captain? Well, he's going to turn to himself. Stephen Finn's coming back into the attack.
Yeah, turn to himself. Something I never said when I was captain of Kent. No one would have wanted to have seen that. Just to finish on the pedigree of Laurie Evans, leading run scorer in the Blast in 2018 for Sussex. He won with the Birmingham Bears. Might have even been Warwickshire back then in 2014. He's played all over the world, so these two, a formidable partnership. Just field change potentially. Someone said stop. I think it was Tim Murtaugh down in front of us here, just wondering whether he should be up in the ring, but no.
Finn then into Evans, bangs it into the turf. Evans pulls some time, brings Amler back on strike.
So Helm's got 2 left. He'll bowl the last 2 from one end. He's a death specialist, isn't he?
Well, he was the man that really got that tie against Kent earlier in the season. Finn to Amler, gives himself room, 2 ends. The ball tries to pull it into the stands. It's one of those where your eyes start following to the left and you realise it's gone nowhere at all. Just trickled out in front of him, get a single for it.
Yeah, I saw Helm bowl a wonderful over. I think it might have been a couple of years ago here against Sussex, when Sussex were doing it easy, and I think he went for about 5 off the last and ended up winning a game that Middlesex had no right to win. So he's got proven pedigree in the death overs.
Finn to Evans, wide called. It's tight with their wides, as they have to be. Most of so it was going just over the leg stump, but room to be signalled wide.
Finn will have 1 more after this, and if he doesn't turn to a new bowler, he's going to have to find 3 overs from Holman and Souter. Souter's got 2 left, Holman's got 1.
Bangs it into the turf, pulled nicely by Amler. Well fielded by Fine Leg, just a single. Yeah, they may have felt at this point, Middlesex, that they've got rid of Amler or somebody. Give their spinners a bit something different to bowl to.
Yeah, well, I think obviously Holman persevered after they got rid of Jacks. If they'd not got rid of Jacks, that would have really given Stephen Finn a headache. It was a good bit of work, though, on the fine leg boundary before Joe Cracknell on debut. Interesting to see him back later.
Amler gives himself room, just plays it, scoops it over his right shoulder, but there's a man there quickly. He's nice and fine at third man. Just gets 2 for it, but it was an elegant looking shot, that one.
Yeah, just used the pace from Stephen Finn, a little ramp shot over John Simpson, but Tim Murtaugh it was scuttling around. I wonder how much Tim Murtaugh enjoys it. Well, my guess is he probably loves it. I'm sure he'd love to have 28,000 people cheering him on. It's kind of a shame that he's made his comeback in Middlesex colours without anyone watching.
Amler waits, full, very full. It's Yorkton, that's a really good ball. Amler did well to get bat onto it. Nice reply there from Finn. Well, as soon as the Bob Willis Trophy campaign had ended, Murtaugh was straight into the white ball squad. I think he wanted it. I think he was in there.
Yeah, well, I suppose usually at that he'd be thinking about a holiday somewhere, but there's so many quarantine rules and regs, and they're always changing, aren't they? He probably thought, no, I'm not going to go on holiday. I'll speak to Karina. Maybe we just stay at home. I'll play some white ball cricket.
This time, pull shot to the onside, and safe. That means that after 14 overs, Surry 128 for 1.
Yes, you think Surry here, you put 10 over, they'd be hoping for at least that, I would think, with 9 wickets to play with. So you'd be looking at kind of 188, 190. They'll be targeting 200, no question. Which is a far larger total than Middlesex managed against Hampshire on this same strip. but a couple of days more preparation. Perhaps it is a better surface.
So Nathan Souter has bowled 2 overs, got 20 runs. Back on. This is launched into the onside. That's 6. Hits about 4 rows back into the stands beneath the scorer's box where old Father Time sits. Nice looking shot. Amla continues. He moves to 66. They really need to get rid of him. I mean, it goes without saying. But to have somebody with such experience, such timing, who will also know exactly when to accelerate, how to use the pace or not of different bowlers.
Well, I think with 6 overs remaining, it's not a case of having to do anything other than just keep hitting 4s and 6s, really. 9 wickets to play with.
Shorter. Back at the bowler. It's a good dot there from Middlesex.
And this is the beauty of having wickets in hand. With so few overs remaining, it just means you can go all guns blazing.
Amla advancing down the track. The ball lands just in front of Holman. Long off. A couple of deliveries here from Nathan Souter. Flatter Evans gives himself room. That's all right. I won't mind that, Middlesex. 3 singles. So now the question is what they do these last 2. Don't spoil it. Hamler bowls him. Goes for the big heave-ho. Targeting the square leg. Stayed low, carried on through. Souter gets his first wicket of the evening. Goodness, they need that, Middlesex. Amla goes for 67. Surry, 136 for 2.
Cracking bit of bowling from Nathan Souter. Smack for 6. Over the mid wicket first ball. But boy, has he come back well. Flatter, quicker. Shim Amla realising that with all those batsmen in the hutch still to come, lots of good ball strikers, that he could afford to go straight into top gear. But that, as you rightly described, he was a heave-ho. It was a bit of a slog. It was un-Amla-like, and it's brought about his demise. Nonetheless, a very fine 67. I am somewhat surprised, though, to see Rory Burns strolling to the crease. I suppose left-right hand combination is a factor, but with so few overs remaining, maybe an Atkinson who hits a long ball, or a Ben Folkes who's been in really good touch. Jamie Overton thumps it. So Rory Burns, who has got a few runs in this competition so far this year, but he hasn't got them at a great rate. You think this isn't a Rory Burns situation, but he could yet prove us wrong.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Overton's strike rate in T20 cricket is 157. And Atkinson as well. Oh well.
Well, unless they're thinking, if we don't get Rory in now, we're going to be wasting one of our resources. But I sometimes think you can afford to let him do nothing.
Oh, he's almost bowled first ball. Once playing onto his stumps, in fact. Chopped on, but no, it just missed outside off. And I think it's nutmeg the keeper as well. It runs away for 2.
Yeah, we didn't know that he had the nutmeg in his locker. That was exactly what he did. Bottom edge between John Simpson's legs.
So
Picks
after
up a brace.
15 overs, Middlesex, or Surry even, 138 for 2. So Laurie Evans is the man in at the moment, 12. He's got a new partner at the crease, Rory Burns. 2 off his first delivery to get off the mark. Sorry, 5 overs left of their innings. 138 for 2. It's a good platform, that.
Yeah, decent platform for Surrey. Interesting to see Rory Burns coming in and a bowling change for Middlesex. They've gone away from their spinners. It's going to be Martin Anderson, who's had a very fine season in Middlesex colours. Starts with a bouncer. We've seen a bit of that in the Bob Willis Trophy, but it is a no ball, so too short from Anderson. And that is for height, so no signal of free hit. As Izzy tries to get a jumper on over her cap, which is, well done. Did you forget to take your cap off, or?
No, it would have messed my hair up if it was a ponytail, you see.
Anderson. Another short ball, and he's going to get pulled one bounce to deep square leg. Got a good piece of it, did Laurie Evans. Certainly going to cost a single. Latched onto it. It'll be interesting whether Anderson employs the same tactic to Rory Burns with a short boundary to the tavern side of the ground.
Employed to get Anderson on at this stage. He hasn't got a wicket yet in the T20 matches for Middlesex. Certainly a capable all-rounder. We saw that in the Bob Willis Trophy. But I don't know whether it's an audacious or desperate move for Middlesex here. Try something different.
Yeah, he's only bowled a couple of overs, but economy rate at the moment of 13.5, which probably explains why he's only bowled a couple of overs. But the way the spinners, taking a bit of a shine to the spinners, these Surrey batsmen, perhaps giving them something different to think about. I like the cut of his jib this year, particularly in the Bob Willis Trophy. Bat to ball, it looks like he wants to be centre stage. He's been entrusted now as he comes into England's test opener, Rory Burns, who's slogging away to the leg side, and he's got just enough of it. And it is in and over the boundary for 6, into the seats. And I take everything back that I said about Rory Burns.
Yeah, it started with 2 no balls, and then the first legitimate delivery has gone for 6.
Yeah, which is messy. Now, it won't please Stephen Finn. He's turned to the young man. He's now going to come round the wicket to Burns. Once again, the umpires have a little chat. I don't know, did someone throw it back who shouldn't have done? Does the ball need a clean? Sometimes we've seen this. I was at Kent the other day, and the ball got hit into the retirement flats. This oldish fella threw the ball back, and all of a sudden everyone kind of panicked. Can we touch it? Can we not touch it? Do we have to get a wet wipe? And sure enough, on came the 12th man. Looks like a new ball's being selected.
Do you have to wet wipe it for 20 seconds? It's happy birthday. That's why you do it.
That I'm not sure. We see here the Ben Debenham going for a new, having a look through the box of balls. We've seen a couple lost. I wonder if that one went out of shape as it bounced off a bit of concrete. But this is not what Middlesex needed. It's an expensive over. No balls, maximum. The board is still saying just the 1 ball, wasn't it? So we've had 2 no balls. The first legitimate one has gone for 6. So Martin Anderson, in truth, needs to buck his ideas up a little bit here. Talented young man, and his team need him. That goes long on, square leg coming up, so you'd expect this one to be pitched up. Burns swings it away, again to the short leg side boundary. It's out of fields, it's just going to be a single, that's better.
It's identical looking shot. That was Surrey's 150. 92 balls coming at just under 10 per over. Yeah, I think Rory Burns just came in with a license to play your shots.
Yeah, nice to have a license, particularly when you're a test opener, when you never get one of those. Slapped away into the leg side from Laurie Evans. They're going to scamper 2. Burns is quick, and that's the other thing that they'll be thinking about. Evans and Burns together will run quickly between the wickets. But good bit of work. I think that's Holman down there on the long-on boundary. Prevents the second run. Yeah, Burns able to play with complete freedom in this situation, as will every Surrey batsman that walks to the crease. Not going to die wondering here, that's for certain. Anderson's in past umpire Rob Bailey. And it's cracked for 4. It's going to be 1 bounce into the leg side. A couple of bounces. Burns gets another boundary. And this is an over that Martin Anderson will want to forget. Still got a couple of balls remaining. Seems to have gone on for about 5 or 6 minutes.
You know, when you're hit for what, 9 runs of your first discipline, by the time you got to the first discipline delivery, it's you think, oh my goodness, I've got 5 more of these to go.
Any kind of riposte from Anderson. He's full outside off stumps, a better looking delivery, but Burns slices it away. He's going to get a couple. Just looking at my scorecard to see how many balls remaining. I think it is just the one. As I look down at my iPad screen, there's a message from my son. Mum says, can you get ketchup on the way home? So there you go. Got to multitask here. I've got to think of shopping lists as well as trying to commentate on an important game of cricket. So if he's listening, and he might well be listening, yes, I'll get ketchup. And into Burns. He's up and over extra cover. Didn't get much of that. Sliced it. Going to get another couple. I've lost count, Izzy, how many off this over. But it's plenty.
Yeah, Anderson has gone for 21 from his 6, well I say 6, 8 deliveries, but his first over. And a little experiment, that change up. Stephen Finn certainly did not do what was intended. It means that Surry now are in a glorious position, really. Afraid to say for Middlesex fans out there, 159 for 2. 4 overs left, that 200 is very much on the horizon.
Yeah, you think Surrey going to be posting around the 200 mark. Well, it's a steep learning curve for Martin Anderson. He's had a good Bob Willis trophy. Just a week or so ago, September the 6th, was his birthday. So he's still a young man. He's had a couple of years out with injury, hasn't he? Back problems. He's got a lot of ability. I really like what I've seen from him. But he was going at 13 and a halves from his 2 overs. His campaign coming into this match, and that over, and that average and economy rate going in the wrong direction. Here's Tom Helm. Wide outside off stump. I think Ben Debenham is going to turn and outstretch the arms. Yes, indeed. Ray Evans swing and a miss. So a few too many extras creeping in here. Outside Evans is off stump. Good bit of bowling. Field set deep. He's got a back square on the fence. He's got a deep cover in front of square on the fence. Helm's going for the wide Yorker. He executed well there, just the single.
Shadows emanating from them. Finn manoeuvring the field.
It's could have been a bit of a masterstroke. Rory Burns coming in. We thought it was a strange move at the time, but he's 17 from 6. He was helped out by those no balls from Anderson in the last over, but left hand, right hand combination proving useful. That's a good bit of bowling. Tom Helm. That slower ball did Rory Burns all ends up. And that is a good option. You know, Burns is a decent player, but he's made his name in red ball cricket. He probably hasn't seen too much of the back of the hand slower ball over the years. I definitely think to Burns, variations are the key. Gets across Rory Burns, and a lap for 4. Cracking bit of batting. Helm went for the quicker one. Perhaps pace off is the way forwards, but Rory Burns playing a fine hand for his side. Very quickly onto 21.
Such a lovely shot. Just helping on its way, using all the pace of the bowler. You forget, of course, they look so easy, but you really need to have that timing.
Yeah, not easy. Tom Helm's quick, and he got across and lapped it. I'd have, if I was a betting man, about £100 on a slower ball here. And I would have lost my money, but I probably would have been a decent shout to have heeded my advice there, because he went pace on, and yet again he went for 4. I just think to a classical opening batsman, like Rory Burns, who's used to, you think, what he faced last year in the Ashes, he had Cummins and Hazelwood and Stark. You know, this is a guy that likes pace on the ball. What do you give a test opening batsman? You give him the one out the back of the hand in my book. So I've now have to double my money easy. I've got 500 quid on the slower ball.
You're sort of injured from a Middlesex perspective, because surely you shouldn't have a test opener doing this to you. It's been havoc.
Tom Helm about to bowl a slower ball. There it is, and he plays a misses. I tell you what, oh, it's a wide. It was a wide, but it was the right tactic. Oh, I tell you what, I should have captained. Easy.
More T20 there, yeah. That's what you need.
Easy game from up here. Become a much better player and captain. Don't know about yourself, is he? But it's an easier game from 200 yards away.
I was a better captain than player, that was my issue.
Yeah, a lot of people said that I wasn't. Didn't rate my captaincy that highly. Helms it again. Goes the pace off, and he's got drilled straight at Stephen Finn at mid-off. So pace off has worked for Tom Helm. Stephen Finn with a good catch. They needed that. Middlesex. Burns was looking dangerous. As it is, he's gone for 25 off 9. 170 for 3, Surry.
Well, that certainly worked. Threw him in for a couple of overs. Got him going. Flying everything at it. Timed pretty much everything. And it means that Burns might depart with his head bowed. But it matters not. He's got 25 of them in quick time. Sorry, 170 for 3. We're going to see make their way to the crease. It is indeed Jamie Overton. His strike rate, imperious, 157. He likes this format. His highest score, only 31. They come at quite a rate.
Yeah, well, Tom Helm will have to think long and hard about whether he goes to slower ball to Jamie Overton, because he can hit a massive ball. But if he learns anything from that little spell bowling at Rory Burns, it's just give an opening batsman, a classical opening batsman, take the pace off. I would be expecting a 4 Yorker straight at the furniture here. Shoof. Overpitched, wide outside off stump. Rather got away with that one, Tom Helm. Slapped for a single, 171 for 3. 3 overs remain.
Yeah, I wonder there if Overton was taken a bit by surprise by a full toss wide outside off stump. Hello. Just had to get a bat on it.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing you dream about as a new batsman. Tom Helm bowling a full pace delivery wide outside off stump. He got a good piece of it, Jamie Overton, but just picked out the man on the deep cover fence. So Stephen Finn, that Martin Anderson experiment, no surprise, has come to an end, which means he's got to turn to his spinner. So here's Nathan Souter. He's going to be bowling to Overton. He's punching up, and Laurie Evans did his best to get in the leg spinner's way. Scurrying past him and round him was Souter, prevents the single. Probably hear the sirens from our effects mic. Overton gives himself room, smears this to long on, which is going to be the single. It's Evans back on strike. Curious innings from Laurie Evans. Hasn't seen much of the strike, going at about a run a ball when everyone else has been going much better than that. So he'll be looking to explode in these last few overs. Little scoop. He's got a good piece of it, and chasing to the boundary is Tom Helm. Gets a couple for it. Good invention.
I think that happens quite frequently, where you've got 2 or 3 batters that just go at a phenomenal rate, see the ball really well, hitting it, timing it beautifully, and then you come in and think, oh, I can do the same. But actually, it's normally a bit harder than it looks.
Evans gives himself room, he's cutting. It's going to be just the single. The point is Jack Davis, returns on the bounce. What happened there?
I think that Nathan Souter's towel dropped out from behind his trousers.
So we're going to have to bowl that one again. So Laurie Evans will be thankful of that, particularly if this one goes for runs. Aaron's towel.
Second time it's happened actually, and they played the first one.
So replaying that delivery, and Evans is sweeping. This could be out actually. Why not thank it? Oh, it's a misfield, and it could have gone for 6. It has gone for 6. A misjudgment on the deep square fence. Looked for all money like it was going to be straight down the throat of the fielder. Can't see who it is he? But looking for the number on the back.
I think it's the young Joe Cracknell, I'm afraid. Welcome to the ball pit. This was unfortunate, really.
I think the umpire's just checking that it did in fact go all the way for 6, but Cracknell looked like he had it under control. He hasn't had a lot of work out there in truth, and sometimes that happens. Yeah, it was Cracknell. The one bit of work I remember him doing was a very lively piece where he slid round, picked it up, flapped it in, prevented a single. It's gone all the way. Evans smoking it again, this time into the leg side. It'll be at least 2. It's the longest part of the ground. He picked the gap. Didn't get all of it. So, how expensive could that be? Middlesex have not been at their best in the field. 182 for 3. 200 is looming large. Evans through the offside. That's a bit of work. Davies on the deep point fence saves 3 runs. That was brilliant. So, from the ridiculous to the sublime. That's what Middlesex need more of. 183 for 3.
Yeah, really good piece of fielding. Got one hand to it. And normally when a ball's going at that speed, quite often it pushes him over the boundary edge. Kept his strength there. Fielded really nicely, as you say, definitely stopping 3 runs. There's 2 overs left. It looks like Helm's going to end things from the pavilion end.
Slow ball from Helm. It's been launched by Evans. It's not going to beat Martin Anderson, who pockets it safely at long on. So that ends Evans' knock. He's gone for 26. 183 for 4. Much needed wicket as Evans thumps his pad. You can probably hear that. Thumps his pad in disgust that he didn't middle that one.
Yeah, second wicket for Tom Helm. As you said earlier, it's been sort of so-so innings from Evans. Just never really got going. I mean, he was going the whole time at more than a run aboard, 26, I think, off 18. But with the likes of Amler and Jacks in front of him, partnering for more than 100 and really launching things from the off, it almost was an anticlimax when he came in.
Yeah, you talk about batting orders and Burns coming in and Overton coming in. You've got someone like Ben Folkes who played so beautifully at the Oval. It's been in really good touch. He's wandering in with a couple of overs remaining. That's 2020. As Helm bowls to Overton, and he sliced this over the short third man, who was effectively like a deep 4th or 5th slip, but he swung so hard he got it up and over, and he's going to get a boundary. That is bad luck from a Middlesex perspective.
It's a horrible one, isn't it, for a bowler? It was tight, it was back of a length, it was a really good looking ball. Huge outside edge, big waft of the bat, that's the way it goes. It's T20 for you.
Yeah, it was a good bit of bowling. It was full, it was wide. That's what he's got his field set for. This is the slower ball. Overton, an ugly pull shot into the leg side. Folkes is quick, but he's not going to risk coming back for a second. And that was a good decision because Souter's throw was a bullet right over the top of the bowler's stumps.
Overton's a very emotional cricketer. He's so angry at himself for mistiming that delivery. He's still throwing his head up in anger at the heavens. It's not the end of the world.
Folkes, who's been in decent touch. It's a piece of this, but this could be out. Is he going to drop safe? Whoa, I didn't want it. Deep cover coming in. Who was that? Was that Holden? Yeah, Max Holden. Just took the decision to let it go one bounce. I think if he'd have kept running at it, he might have got it on the full. Sometimes at this stage of an innings, it's kind of damage limitation. Let it go one bounce. Folks got back for two. I reckon if he flung himself at it, he might have got there.
It's one of those where you've got to make that split-second decision as you're running a full pelt. I think you may have been right there.
Down the leg side, this is going to be a wide, and it's a missed field from John Simpson. Might go all the way. But once again, Middlesex a little bit sloppy in the field, and that is going to go for 4 wides. I think in fairness to John Simpson, Tom Helm, when he bowls that one out the back of the hand, it can turn sometimes.
Yeah.
It looked like it might have turned on the second bounce.
I was going to say, and bouncing just in front of him, it's a horrible one to have to pick up. Now we're commentating from the top of the pavilion on the right-hand side, and there's another sort of tower to our left. Director of cricket here, Angus Fraser. He's sitting in his familiar position, and I tell you what, he's somebody that you know what's going on when you look at him.
Yes, what is his body language telling you? Back to that in just a second as Helm comes in. He's driving again. Is Jamie Overton. Stephen Finn's getting through some work at extra cover. What is the director of cricket's body language saying, is he?
I think things could be better, to put it mildly. One over left, sorry, 197 forward. We're talking about that 200. It's going to be one hell of a chase.
Yeah, of course, we saw Middlesex make 209, didn't we, against Kent? And that probably shouldn't have been enough. Kent somehow contrived to get a tie when they looked like they were cruising to victory. So sometimes it's tough to read conditions here. What is a good score? What isn't a good score? At first glance, you'd think anything above 200 is a decent score, especially after what happened on this same surface just 2 days ago.
It's one of those that, having had those 400 runs scored in the first match, it almost sort of desensitised us, and we thought, oh, that's the norm, off we go. But nothing like that since.
Here's Finn, this has gone straight up in the air. It's going to take some catching. In fact, it might well land safe. Finn coming in, this will be a hell of a catch. What a valiant effort that is. We said that Max Holden didn't go for the last one. Well, that was Nathan Souter, who was charging in there, absolutely at top speed, flung himself at it. Out pops the towel. Jamie Overton, well, he got back for 2. The ball went probably about 25 yards in terms of distance away from the stumps and about 75 yards upwards. Stuart Law finding that fairly amusing. Bouncer, and nothing is going Middlesex's way at the moment. Hook stroke from Overton, top edge. John Simpson flung himself up at it, couldn't get a mid on it, and it goes for yet another boundary.
Well, brings up Surrey's 200 as well, 203 in the 20th over. That is an imperious total. It'll take some catching. Well, we might be in for the chase of the season. What do you know?
This one won't go to the boundary. It's going to be the single as Overton. Once again. Oh no, this is, do not look at Angus Fraser would be my, in fact I'm looking at him now, he's up out of his seat and he's not saying anything, probably just as well, but he is leaning over there. I'd say he's gesticulating, is he, but Stephen Finn here, not be impressed.
Just waiting for him to put his hands on his hips, and that'll be the next stage.
So just 3 balls remaining, and these Middlesex fielders can get out of the firing line. That's going to be big. That's not going to help Angus Fraser's mood. That is huge, huge from Overton. That might be looking for another ball in the old box. Yep, the umpires are heading to the pavilion once again. New balls, please. That is into the grandstand. Well, that's the biggest hit I've seen for some while.
Tying the socks off that one. Didn't look as though there was much effort either, but Overton's powerful figure. We get it in the right area. Hang. Long levers, everything behind it.
Yeah, using a bit of the pace, wasn't he, of Finn as well. It was a quick delivery, but he just swiveled on it. Sure, he's got the best bat either. It's not making the best of noises, but went many a mile. What has Finn got as an answer? 4. See, they made that funny noise again, and this is still going to go for 6. Stephen Finn, head in hands. It's Jamie Overton once again coming to the party. Did it at Chelmsford with a quick fire 30. He's on 28 off 11. Back-to-back 6s.
Well, 20 already from this over, and still another ball to come. It's not even as though Middlesex will leave the field with any momentum. It's difficult to watch. Overton, well, you talked about his bat. I think he's decided that he needs a new one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange time to go and get a new bat, isn't it, with 1 ball remaining, especially when you just hit 2 6s from the previous 2 deliveries, but it didn't make a great sound, did it? Just as well.
If you hit those 2 6s with a broken bat, what's it going to do with a new one?
So Jamie Overton, poised, new bat at the ready. Last ball of the innings. Better delivery from Stephen Finn. Can't get underneath that one. Overton, they're going to scamper back for 2. They're going to try anyway. Throw comes in and he's run out. Overton's gone. Decent return from the deep mid-wicket fence. So, not going to get much momentum, Middlesex. But at least they did pick up another wicket. But 217 for 4. Might tick round to 218 for 4, I'm guessing. So Overton will move to 29, just waiting for that scoreboard to change. But, Izzy Westbury, that is a very, very formidable looking score.
It is indeed the highest total that we've seen so far here at Lord's. This final T20 Blast match at the home of cricket. And, well, Middlesex don't like it when anyone scores that kind of total against them, but when it's the likes of Surry, who so far are 1-0 up in the London Derby, it's going to take a mighty, mighty chase.
Yeah, 218 for 5. It did tick round. Overton ran out off that last ball, but not before he'd done an awful lot of damage. Just running through the scorecard. Jacks a quick fire 55 from 30. Amler a classy 67 from 49. Evans a more becalmed 26 from 19. Burns, who was a surprise coming in at number 4, 25 off just 10 deliveries. And then those fireworks from Jamie Overton at the end, 28 off 11 deliveries, 218 for 5. 29 in the end he made. And looking at those bowling figures, Izzy, well, they were all expensive. The only 2 men under 10 runs per over. The experience of Tim Murtagh, 8.75, and Luke Holman, 9.33.
Yeah, it was the stage about 5 overs in when it looked as though Middlesex was sharing it around, going at 10 overs each. And Stephen Finn really trying to chop and change a little bit. We saw him for the first time really at this tournament bowling in the power play overs. And then trying to see whether his spin bowlers could come in, Salter and Holman in the middle overs, but they couldn't stem the flow of runs either. And then there was the Anderson experiment, poor man. I mean, he hasn't bowled many overs so far in this tournament. He's bowled extremely well in the Bob Willis Trophy, but him getting hit for 21 in the sort of middle overs just felt as though it wasn't going to stop anywhere. And the problem as well with Surry is that Amler and Jack's at the top of the order, but it was the middle order of Surrey that have really done damage in this tournament so far. Just so the moment one man went out, just another one came in, just churn, and really all of their explosive ones. We haven't even seen Gus Atkinson at the crease either. So a formidable total, and a lot of work to do for Middlesex.
Yeah, well, I guess they had such a good start. It meant the batsmen coming in the middle order didn't have to think too hard about it. There was no rebuilding job needed, was there? They could just put their foot flat down. I did their game at Canterbury when they got stuffed by Kent, and they were 20 for 3 quite quickly. And then Amler, whilst he got 75, he had to just tick it around. It was none of that today, because that start, that 101 for the first wicket, meant that even the likes of Burns coming in the middle could just thrash away. And I think the disappointing thing from a Middlesex perspective will be the fielding. You know, and Joe Cracknell on debut, you can forgive him for that one that went over his head, but there was a few things that slipped through. Stuart Law, I don't think we'll be particularly happy with the field. And there was a few things that went against them as well. You know, luck sometimes needs to be on your side in T20 Blast matches. There was that top edge that just flew over John Simpson's head towards the end, the one that bounced and kind of wrong-footed him as well. But I think with one or two exceptions, I thought Holden was good. I thought Souter was excellent. Middlesex not quite at their best in the field tonight.
Well, one innings down, one innings still to go. It's a wonderful, balmy summer's evening here at Lord's. I think the one thing missing, though, of course, is what Middlesex would need, a roaring crowd behind them. But let's take a look at a video from Middlesex's players who have a message for everyone who can't join us here at Lord's for the game and are watching back at home.
The moment is drawing near where we will once again be able to represent you, to play for you, renewing old rivalries and creating new ones.
Inspiring a new generation and remembering the past, while never forgetting our heroes who have sacrificed so much to bring us back together.
The walk to the ground, the meeting up with old friends and the making of new, the fireworks lighting up the Thursday night sky, may all have to wait for now.
But we know that until you are back in the stands, you are with us, in the changing rooms, in the slips, in the dugout, down at the other end.
Thank you to all the essential workers that have kept us safe, the fans from Middlesex and abroad who have kept us motivated, the club sponsors for their unwavering commitment, and to our members for their patience and support, the lifeblood of Middlesex cricket.
It will certainly not be the same until you return. We hope you join us for every match,
Every ball, every wicket, every 4 and 6, delivered to you with our new enhanced broadcast live.
Middlesex cricket is back at the crease and we cannot wait to welcome you back.
Welcome back to Lord's. Beautiful summer's evening, late summer's Monday evening. The sun's truly set, the floodlights in full beam, and so was Surry, posting an imposing total 218 for 5 from their 20 overs. And it's the first time we've seen at home this season that Middlesex have opted to bowl first. I wonder if that will come back to bite them. But in the past, when we, apart from maybe that 200 total we saw against Kent in that tie, we've seen scores around the 160, 140. We thought going into the second innings, if Middlesex were going to win it, they might need to have a bowler that picked up the Knight Frank player of the match. But I have a feeling that if Middlesex are to win this one, it'll be a batter that takes it home.
Yeah, the batsmen are going to have to play well, aren't they? They're going to need a good start. Stevie Eskenazi and Max Holden have been excellent in this campaign so far. But it's funny you mentioned the Knight Frank player of the match. Izzy, just a reminder that we want you to get involved at home. Tweet us your thoughts on who should win that Knight Frank player of the match. Obviously, it's got to be a Middlesex player. I know you'd probably think at the moment that the Surrey players are slightly ahead, but watch this space because Middlesex have got a bat yet. But at Middlesex_CCC or comment on our Facebook page at Middlesex Cricket using the hashtag Knight Frank POTM player of the match. So all set for this second half, Izzy, and who does hold the key for Middlesex, do you think? Is it Eskenazi? He's been the main man at the top.
Well, at the top of the order, Stevie Eskenazi and Max Holden have got the bulk of the runs and also gone at such a rate. We saw that opening day century from Max Holden in the ultimately abandoned match down at Chelmsford at Essex, 102 not out, and then Stevie Eskenazi we've seen so consistent at the top of the order. And I think that's the danger really, is that whereas Surrey you can see there's a powerhouse in the middle of the order, Middlesex, if they get those two fall quickly, then it's a slightly inexperienced side coming through, the likes of Joe Cracknell coming in at 3, Jack Davies, Martin Anderson, very, very young indeed. John Simpson was the saviour in the previous match, 30 not out he got to really bolster the middle order. So it'll take a team effort, but you'd imagine that if Eskenazi or Holden are to go big, they're in with a good chance. And it's an important one. It's an important juncture here, round 7 of the Vitality T20 Blast. Middlesex find themselves at number 4 in the table. Surry one above them. If Middlesex were to win, they might be in with a chance of edging Surry out of third spot, with Kent and Sussex going pretty well at the top. Yeah, I think Middlesex really do need to win this if they're going to be any chance of making that quarterfinal.
Yeah, Middlesex, of course, travel to Canterbury on Wednesday to play the table toppers at the moment. Kent had a thrashing of Hampshire today at the Aegeus, so they're looking good. Sussex, you mentioned, but yeah, if they can beat Surrey here tonight and then take Kent down on Wednesday, they're right in the mix. But I have to say, 2:19, you're looking a long way off.
Well, we're lucky to be here at all, and that's large part to Middlesex's club sponsors, whose support has been brilliant throughout the summer. Great commitment and great to have them with us. And yes, we'd like to say our thanks to them for getting cricket on at all. Welcome back to Lords, and we're just about to start the second innings of this Vitality T20 Blast, the London derby between Middlesex and Surry. Surry are 1-0 up, having won the home leg about a week or so ago. Easy fashion at the end. It was a low-scoring affair, but this one, if it's going to be a close one, it's going to be a high-scoring affair as well. Westbury Dave Fulton to my right. Surry made 218 for 5. Well, I'd say we've got a game on our hands.
Izzy, we've got a game on our hands, but at the moment it is advantage Surrey. No question about that. Those runs on the board, you don't chase 18 down too often. But an opportunity, and I think these opening exchanges are going to be key. Stevie Eskenazi, Max Holden, they've been the standout batsmen for Middlesex in this year's campaign. And they're going to have a wily old campaigner in Reece Topley up against them.
Eskenazi off the mark straight away. How often have we seen that? Just guiding it down to third man. Yes, Eskenazi averaging just over 45, 273 runs in this campaign. Oh, not far behind him. He's on 202, so averaging 40. That's a nice left-hand, right-hand combination. It's one that Middlesex perhaps weren't expecting this year. You think normally that top 4 slot is sort of Amy de Villiers, David Milan in the past, Sterling, Morgan. These two youngsters having a go at it. Flash of the bat there from Holden. Quite sure what he's intending to do there. He survives at least. He's top league T20 specialist these days.
Yeah, it's a good story, isn't it? Reece Topley, back from all kinds of back surgeries. I think he said 3 of them. Many counties, of course. Essex and Hampshire and Sussex. Now at Surrey. You see that familiar move, almost Rory Burns-esque of Holden's head. Patted back at the bowler. Good speeds, lines, lengths there. Reece Topley. A little bit of swing, wasn't there? Last couple of deliveries, he'll try and get the ball to move away from the left-handed batsman through the air, use the slope to good effect.
Here he comes again. Another drive, another miss. Just wonder, Holden, so eager. I think that's the problem when you've got such an imposing total. You just need to get going.
You know, if you remember, there was a classical forward defensive, wasn't there, from Hashim Amla, kind of second or third ball to Tom Helm. Just recognised it as being a good delivery and went, yep, we got plenty of time. 120 balls, it seems like a crash bang wallop kind of game, but you get a good one, you still got to keep it out. They're the rules of batting.
Oh, the top edge is going to fly over the keeper. Only just though, as you run down to the boundary edge, and it's beaten 4 fielders converging on the ball. The ball's the winner. That was almost comical.
That was brilliant, wasn't it? I mean, a wholehearted effort from the Surry keeper and slip, and I think it was Abler going from short, fine leg, and third man was coming round. But yeah, he had just the right amount of pace on it. It was kind of running away. Sometimes when you get those top edges and then onto the helmet, and he's just looking at his helmet now, Max Holden, so perhaps we have to have some sort of safety check because it did top edge onto the lid. Sometimes you get a little bit of top spin, and when it landed I thought perhaps it wasn't going to get there, but just ran away with a bit of top spin. Physio, check this out, make sure all is okay and that Holden's helmet's fit to continue.
Well, folks knew straight away that he wasn't going to be in with a chance of a catch, so even almost as soon as the ball flew off the bat, he was running down to the boundary. It's a short one down there. He had 4 different fielders. I think there was slip, there was the short fine leg, and then there was third man careering through from the boundary edge, all coming in. Danger of collision almost there.
Yeah, I guess at least they were all running in kind of the same direction. I was at Arundel for that horrible crash between Rory Burns and Moses Enriques, and yeah, that was very, very nasty. Game abandoned when they went head on to each other.
Attempted pull there from Holden, almost plays it onto his stumps. I think it's hit him in the chest, so he just had one on the helmet, he's got one on the chest now, he's getting a bit peppered. Poor man.
Yeah, his top is not expressed, but he's just hitting that nagging back of a length, and you're right about the total, Izzy. When you're looking for 219 runs, you can't afford too many back foot defensives, so you try and very quickly essay the old pull shot to something that's not quite there, and Holden will have a souvenir in the morning. A nice big shiny purple patch on one of his ribs.
Well, 5 off the first over then, they're going to need to double that run rate if they're going to get anywhere near that total from Surry, and it looks as though they're going to go and opt for Gareth Batty there.
I think it's Will Jacks.
Is it Will Jacks?
Yes, Will Jacks not a bad game, is it? As a youngster, open the batting, open the bowling, be the main man in short form cricket. Quite often just hides an over early in the power play.
Spin to start. Prods it into the onside, Eskenazi. Through for a single again. Means Holden's going to have another go at this.
Tell you what though, Gareth Batty, he'll be flavour of the month with him. Will Jacks 21 years of age, Gareth Batty 42 years of age.
It's a long old way away.
Half Batty's age he is, and I know we're 150 yards away, but Gareth Batty, he doesn't look 21, is he, let me tell you. None of us do anymore.
Holden advancing down the track. He really wants a piece of this, but he's not getting it so far. Thick inside edge, teams away to mid-wicket.
Yeah, well, he got a piece of it. He got a very small piece of it, not the piece he wanted. You're right. He's a bit scrappy at the moment, Max Holden. He's just got to settle into his work.
Jacks then, Eskenazi turns this onto the onside. Another single. I just wonder, so we talked about how Middlesex have favoured batting first, and it gives them that freedom. They've got nothing to chase, no total. The stage is theirs. And Holden, I mean, he's still a really young man. Only 22 years of age, is around the wicket and a big heave into the onside. Does not connect at all. He's just trying too much. He wants to get to that run rate too quickly.
Yeah, it's clever bowling by Jacks, isn't it? He held that one back, bowled it slower, gave it a bit of a tweak, just turned up the hill a fraction. And Holden hacking away at the moment.
Holden, 5 off 7. He turns that off his hips into the onside.
And that's where Stevie Eskenazi's got a role to play. You know, he's Bob Willis Trophy captain, he's the experienced man out there. He doesn't have a lot of miles on the clock himself, Eskenazi, but he'll just tell his younger partner just to settle down. You know, Max, you're a good player, we know how quickly you can score, you'll catch the run rate up, just get yourself in. You throw your wicket away here and suddenly you're 10 for 1. Middlesex really are up against it.
Final ball of his second over. Eskenazi again nudging it into the onside. They're going to come back for 2. They're thinking about it. Good fielding and a slip and slide in the outfield there. Be careful. That's where you pick up a strain of something. He's recovered all right.
Yeah, good start this from Surry. We saw with the bat, didn't we, after a couple of overs, they were going at 10s, they were 20 without loss. Middlesex half that, so they will have to put their foot down at some point, but you've also got to get yourself in.
Topley to continue from the pavilion, and no surprises there. Good opening over. Eskenazi 4 from 4. Advances down the track. Slapped into the onside. Flat as a pancake. Absolutely beautiful shot. Just raced away. Dismissive there from Eskenazi. Moves to 10. Middlesex 16 without loss.
Yeah, it flew straight over the night Frank ball, didn't it? Like an absolute rocket, like a 2-iron. Low trajectory. I think it might be Jamie Overton standing in front of it. He's a tough man to get it over. He managed it.
Eskenazi once more trying to give himself room, moving into the onside, but this time can only manage inside edge down to Amler at a short fine. So 7 off the first 2 deliveries here. I'll give Holden some encouragement.
Yeah, it's important if the man at the other end is struggling. Stevie Eskenazi just releasing a little bit of pressure, not just on himself, but a little bit on Holden as well. He's got the scoreboard ticking with a couple of boundaries. Just allow Holden to chew a couple of balls.
Shouts of catch as it falls just short of the fielder. Backward point. It went hard, it went fast, but it was aerial for a little while. No chance of a catch in the end, but did well to parry it to stop the boundary, in fact, to stop any run at all.
Yeah, it was Laurie Evans just a couple of yards in front of him. He got Burns a backward point. Evans almost on square, so they're very close together. I know Holden likes that cover drive.
Top lead to Holden. Plays it down to third man. Eskenazi on strike. He's got 2 deliveries to face here. This Topley over. What Middlesex won't want to do is, with Holden not quite timing, is just piling on that pressure to Eskenazi, where he suddenly thinks, oh, I need to do the bulk of the work here. Because he's timing it beautifully, as he has done all tournament. Just trust himself. Back over the bowler's head. Well, he's trusted himself with that one, because that is a gorgeous looking straight drive down the ground for 6. Middlesex to 24, Eskenazi to 17. I'll tell you who isn't flustered. It's that man in the middle.
2 wonderful strokes from Stevie Eskenazi. That was the better of them because it was straighter. Now, Reece Topley is not an easy man to put back over his head. Made a lovely sound off the willow, didn't it? Contrast Jamie Overton with those 6s he was hitting with a kind of horrible noise that was making. I mean, the ball went far enough. Make no mistake about that, but that was a lovely thump. And once again, it is a box of balls that has come out to the middle. The umpires, you can just see there in the back of your picture, just consulting. New balls, please. He's got a lot in that box. Having a little count up, I reckon from here I can spot about 15 balls in that box. So maybe that's a good sign for Middlesex. That's what they've got to play with. They can lose 14, we've still got a game. Gareth Batty's he's an interested spectator alongside umpire Ben Debenham, maybe just picking one out that's trying to get the softest one he can find. He's a canny operator, the 42-year-old. He won't miss a trick.
Final ball of his third over. Eskenazi, what can he do? Drives it down the ground, straight to extra cover. It's a dot ball to end the over. 24 for no wicket. 3 overs gone.
So fine start from Stevie Eskenazi. He's 17 off 8. Max Holden's got a little bit catching up to do. 7 off 10 hasn't quite been at his fluent best. Top edge 4 over the keeper via his helmet. He's worn 1 in the ribs. But the good news is that when you're out there, you can do something about it. The trick is not to get too frustrated and then throw it away. You walk off with 7 from 11 or 12 and you're back in the hutch and that's your game done. You've got to find that balance between upping the run rate and staying in.
Holden on strike. Oh, that's got hold of that one. 8 or 9 rows back. There's Atkinson to the fray. His first ball has been pummeled into the stands for 6. That's one way to get things back where you want them. Beautiful shot there from Holden. Middlesex moved to 30.
Yeah, and suddenly he's 13 from 11. He's in front of balls faced, and everything is looking that much rosier in his world. That's the point I was making, really, and I'm sure that's what Stevie Eskenazi would have been saying to him. You faced a few dots, but you catch it up pretty quickly here with that short tavern side boundary.
Atkinson again, and diving attempted catch there. Rory Burns through the air to his right. It was going at some pace. It would have been one hell of a catch, cracking catch if he managed to hold on to it, but it just was too quick for him.
Well, I reckon that's a pretty good result from a Surrey perspective, because Max Holden laced that through at Rory Burns, and he was full stretch, goalkeeper style, and he saved 3 runs. I mean, yes, technically it's a drop catch, but they take some catching those. He did well to parry it. Just putting one finger up, maybe he's got one finger left after that, like it stung a bit.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Atkinson, Eskenazi gives himself room, plays it into the offside single. Back point on the boundary.
And this is, I think, what Middlesex have got to do. If they're going to chase down 219, they've almost got to target a bowler. You know, someone like a Gareth Batty, wily campaigner. Daniel Moriarty's had a terrific campaign as well. So you think, maybe Atkinson, young seamer, nice pace to hit. Maybe he's the one who's got to go.
Doesn't get any bat on it. One from Holden. Well, it's a brave thing to do. Atkinson's best figures in this format, 2 for 18 win their match against Middlesex. The home fixture. He's got good form against this side. But as you say, he's this young man. He's got an economy rate of just hovering under 9 in the format. So he's the one, perhaps, they've decided. Holden, big flash, misses that one. Back-to-back dots, that's useful. Sounds though. Little cut there to Rory Burns' finger. I think you might get a dressing on it at some point. Support staff from Surry around the outfield. Surprised, really. The way in which he wore it. Change in the field. Backward points pushed out to the boundary. And it's a good change in the field because the ball has gone straight to him. Surry just popped up toply from third man down on the boundary, pushed out backward point. And it was a stroke of excellence from the Surrey captain, Gareth Batty, because he dismissed Holden and has brought Atkinson his first wicket.
Yeah, good bit of work from Gareth Batty. Talked about Owen Morgan earlier, didn't we? Pulling the strings, vastly experienced England captain and a vastly experienced Surrey captain. There's not much that Gareth Batty hasn't seen in the T20 Blast format. And he just knew exactly what he was doing there. He kind of sensed, sometimes you get a sense, an instinct as a captain that the batsman's looking to go big. And Holden had hit that 6 earlier in the over. He flashed at a couple outside off stump. Atkinson did his bit, banged it in, and sure enough he picked a man out on the fence. The Batty had moved straight there. It was James Smith. Holden's gone for 14. And now we have the debutant, Joe Cracknell. What can you do, young man? It's a tall order.
Here's indeed a stop-start innings there from Holden. Didn't really get going, then we saw him wallop one into the stands. It felt as though maybe he was just about gearing things up, just beginning. Wasn't to be. Eskenazi 18 from 9 at the other end, but it's Cracknell. It's going to be the man on strike to face the first ball of this 5th over. Middlesex 32 for 1, chasing 218. Jamie Overton into the attack. Cracknell just pushing it back at the bowler. Trying to turn it onto the onside. Rose up on him pretty quickly. That's a bit of an introduction to the proceedings. Hello, here's Jamie.
Yes, Jamie Overton, who could bowl 90 plus mile an hour. Welcome to T20 cricket, young man. If he can get his side over the line, this will be a fine debut Indeed, what a challenge ahead of him.
Past the outside edge, through to keeper. Too quick. Cracknell just walks away. Square leg. Bit of gardening. Collects his thoughts.
Yeah, Stevie Eskenazi once again just sauntering down. If Max Holden was a junior partner, then Joe Cracknell most certainly is. Eskenazi probably just telling him, just don't worry about it. He got beaten all ends up by that one, and his body language already, his head was back, looking at the stars. You know, his body language is of a young man who's slightly nervous and slightly impatient at the moment.
Overton, back of a length. Short of all, Cracknell flays his bat at it. He feels at Overton every single time he comes down through his follow-through, right up in the batter's nose almost. He's an imposing figure. That's certain.
Yeah, you can hear the Surrey fielders, can't you? Another dot here, another dot. Just trying to pile some pressure. Cracknell will be thinking hard. He's got a man who's bowling quickly. He's none from 3.
He's batting like this time. Straight to backward point. He's a shy at the non-striker's end, but Eskenazi had not left his crease. So we've got 4 dot balls in a row. Testing time to Middlesex.
Yeah, just 20. Joe Cracknell, product of the Middlesex Academy. This a baptism of fire. 219 you've got to get. You've got Jamie Overton roaring in at you.
Wow, that's one way to break the drought. 4 runs over mid-on. A composed looking shot there from Cracknell. Really well timed. Didn't have to move his feet all that much. After having faced 4 dot balls, 20-year-old up against Jamie Overton. It's a very composed answer.
Yeah, that's he needed that. It was a bit fuller, it was in the slot, still takes some doing. The man, Jamie Overton, over mid-on.
Final ball, 6 runs. My goodness me, he's got hold of that. It has hit the top of the scorer's board. Old Father Time almost in danger there. You talked about a few big sixes we've seen tonight already. That was the biggest of the lot, and it's come from 20-year-old Joe Cracknell against Jamie Overton. He faced 4 dot balls, then we've seen 4, 6, 10 off the over. That's got him going.
Cool, that'll make him feel a whole lot better. Old Father Time was ducking for cover, wasn't he? Just above the clock there, he just picked that one up sweet as you like. 2 cracking shots, none from 4, pressure on his shoulders, Surrey fielders in his ears, and then suddenly wallop 4, wallop 6, and all is right in his world again. He's 10 from 6, and he'll be feeling a damn sight better.
Yeah, 0 from 4, just 10 from 6. My goodness me.
So we're going to have a change of bowling. It's going to be Will Jacks. Is it back into the attack? Still no Gareth Batty. He's bowling to Eskenazi, turns into the leg side. I think I would be keen if I was Eskenazi to get Cracknell back on strike. He's obviously got some power. He's a strongly built young man. It's like, you go and play your game, young man. You just try and ride the crest of a wave. 4-6. He's got a licence now. 4 balls to get your eye in, and away you go.
It's taking a while for me to get over that shot.
This time he's more watchful, just turning it into the leg side. A little bit of turn and bounce there from Jacks. This is a used pitch. Yeah, I mean, he hit it beautifully. I'm just pleased that he didn't crash it into the clock or knock Father Time off his perch. That would have been a slightly disappointing situation. Jacks is again, he's bowling to Eskenazi, who's cutting. The offside field is all up in the ring. They're going to try and pinch a single. Cracknell's going to have to hurry. I think he's okay. But that tested the old hamstrings. Eskenazi giving himself room because we're still in the power play and Gareth Batty's got all his offside fielders in the ring. This field to me crying out for a reverse sweep. And the wicket just chipping into the gap. It's not a bad shot. Just a little pitching wedge, bit of spin. Take the single.
Yeah, hung up in the air for a little while. You just thought, oh dear. No fielders there though. Nice empty space. It's alright, just rotate the strike.
So change of field, Jack's going to come round the wicket, back goes long leg, up comes long on to mid on. There is the reverse sweep. Batty's fielding a backward point. No run. So one ball remaining of the power play, 46 for 1. Try and go past 50 here, Middlesex. Eskenazi will just take the single. Think about a second. They decide against. 47 for 1 at the end of 6. So bowling change. Jamie Overton smoked for that 4 and 6. Off the last 2 balls of his over, they're going to turn to Daniel Moriarty. Really impressed with what I saw of him down at Canterbury, just 21 years of age. It's just his 7th match, averaging 15, an economy of 6.5. 3 for 25 he took at the Spitfire ground. Really good economy and accuracy, gives it a tweak. He's bowling from the pavilion end, just pulled out by Eskenazi to deep mid wicket where Overton fields.
I just don't want to watch that replay of that 6 again. I just want to watch it on a loop.
I presume the Middlesex social media feed will have highlights a little bit later. Tomorrow morning, I'm being told, as Cracknell cuts into the offside. So if you want to see that 6 again, might be an opportunity to take it back on the stream. I don't know the technology, but certainly tomorrow that 6 might feature prominently on Middlesex's social media feeds. It's Moriarty to Eskenazi, who's cutting, and Cracknell has to hurry here. He's diving, but he gets in. So Middlesex 50 is up in the 7th over. Just need to get a little bit of a shift on. 50 off 39, I think Surry were 50 off 32. Smoking that into the leg side is Joe Cracknell. Once again it's a single, and singles don't hurt Surry.
Dave, I think you're being sledged by the BBC commentary box.
What's happening? Because I got my Middlesex hat on.
Yeah, Kevin Handis.
Oh, that's good from Eskenazi. That's a maximum. He's been in fine touch in this T20 Blast campaign, and he just stretched out for that one, swept it square on the leg side. And that is another 6, and that is what Middlesex need. If they're going to chase this target of 219 down, they're going to need plenty of those. Eskenazi turning into the leg side. Cracknell's hurrying. Eskenazi just ambling down. He knows that that's not a 2. So that concludes the Moriarty over. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what Joe Cracknell can do. There is redevelopment work going on all over Lords at the moment. I don't think that was the intended area for that redevelopment, but someone, a bit of polyfiller, smooth that over. Cracknell doing damage on Blast's debut. There you go.
I feel like you should give him sort of a chunk of it as a souvenir. I'm sure they used to do that with the Berlin Wall. People could go and get chunks of it. I think he deserves a chunk of the score box.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it had bounced off Father Time or the clock, then that would have been a suitable souvenir, but Berlin Wall, that's not. Eskenazi continuing just to knock those singles into the onside. And Jax fields off his own bowling. I think that's Jax. Make the same mistake and call him Gareth Batty. Still persevering with his off-spin. Cracknell was sweeping. They get a single for it. Tough to come back for two when you start from the running position of down on one knee. Interesting bat, he hasn't opted for himself. But past the power play into the 8th over. This would be fascinating to see how Stevie Eskenazi paces this run chase. He's on to 32, just 19 deliveries. He's content to pick the singles up when they're on offer, which is what I like. I think how Max Holden was kind of thrashing at air a little bit, getting a touch impatient. Eskenazi taking what's on offer. Cracknell was trying to sweep, gets right across outside off stump. He might get a couple here by virtue of the fact it's 39-year-old Hashim Amla. Actually, I might be doing him a disservice there. Hashim Amla's only 37. It was Batty who was 39. No, it wasn't.
Batty's 42.
But Batty's 42. It was Murtagh who was 39. There's a few old ones in this game.
Veterans. Vintage.
They're still whippersnappers compared to me, as even Amla fielding there, so they get back for two quite comfortably, leg buys. Good bit of bowling that from Jack, slower and wider. Cracknell can only pick out Gareth Batty dot ball.
Wonder if they just think, let's see where we are at halfway mark.
Dangerous ploy. This is a sweep that's nailed in the gap, but round comes Reece Topley, and they only get the single. So a good-looking shot from Joe Cracknell once again. He's finding the middle of the bat, but Surry have their fielders in the right place. 64 for 1 after 8. So just a little bit behind the rate at the moment.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. I think you kind of look where you're at 10 overs, but you can't afford to just dawdle on your way to the halfway point.
No.
You've got to keep pushing, but I think you're right. At 10 overs, you'll know what the equation is. You know, what's possible off 10, maybe 110, 120 even.
Yeah, it must have been to the halfway mark. It must have been, right, let's see if we can just keep within touching distance. You know, we might not be at the rate, but let's make sure we give ourselves a chance.
Moriarty smoking it to the leg side is Cracknell. A little bit of a slog this one. Didn't get all of it. He's going to pick up a single. Yeah, I think what you can do in a chase of 219, you go too hard too early, you find yourself 3 or 4 down, you're out, this game's gone. Middlesex haven't made that mistake. Moriarty is in. Eskenazi once again taking the single on offer.
And that's kind of what you feel is the difference between the Holden versus Eskenazi approach. Holden was just almost thinking, I've got to go from the off. But Eskenazi's been quite content to time it, to turn it, to rotate the strike, but he's still there.
Cracknell goes again, trying to wreak his own particular brand of havoc into the leg side. We've already seen him damage the buildings. He was trying again there, but a bit of a bottom edge. Yeah, it could have been a case of, Eskenazi said, I'll knock it around, Max, you go for the big shots. Didn't quite work out for Holden. Wide outside leg stump. Moriarty perhaps thinking that Eskenazi was advancing, threw it wide into the neat gloves of Ben Folkes. Always makes keeping look so effortless. Shorter for Moriarty, and this it's going to be 6. Another maximum from Eskenazi. He's got all his 6s over that short leg side, tavern side boundary. One off Reece Topley flew. That one, is that his 4th 6? He did hit one straight, didn't he, off Topley down the ground, I think.
Yep, it's 4th 6 indeed. It was taunting almost, wasn't it? Just evaded the fielders there in between square leg and the mid wicket.
2 balls left of the 9th over. Eskenazi sweeping, top edges it into his grill. I don't think they'll check the helmet for this one. They do like to be extra careful. Eskenazi kind of running towards the pavilion. Do I need to get it checked, he says, to umpire Ben Debenham. I think they might be calling, no, they're telling him to stay, I think. He's okay. Yeah, a little top edge into the grill. I think they worry more about when it hits the helmet on the shell. But it doesn't do too much damage, but I think the grill's okay. Brings Cracknell back onto strike, so Middlesex...
Oh, I think they've asked
No, they're going to have to do it. This is the protocols. If we haven't got COVID protocols, we've got concussion protocols and helmet protocols.
It's a dangerous game.
Yeah, so the physio's going to run on. My guess is he's going to look at the helmet, and then he's going to hand it back to Eskenazi and say it's okay to carry on. But hasn't brought a spare one out with him. Have a look. It's all right to me. There we go. Carry on. Got to be done. To smack slightly of going through the motions.
Don't think Eskenazi was too
He wasn't too worried, was he?
worried about it.
Here we go, last ball of the 9th over. Cracknell back on strike, and he's cutting, trying to get it through that gap. Good bit of fielding once again. Surry, I think at the moment, difference between the two sides, possibly just in the field. Surry shading it. Middlesex going along nicely. 76 for 1 after 9.
So, lots to do then for Middlesex. 9 overs gone. 76 for 1, chasing 218 for 5.
Here he comes. The 57-year-old Gareth Batty. Sorry, 42-year-old Gareth Batty. I don't know, it's difficult to tell from him. He spent a lot of time out in the sun. He's bowling from Surry, a reverse sweep by Cracknell. That is no way to treat a 42-year-old experienced Gareth Batty. Just turns himself round, flicks it behind square. Another boundary to the increasingly impressive Joe Cracknell. He's on to 23, Middlesex 80 for 1 now.
Very composed shot there from Cracknell. Right in the gap.
Sweeping again, this time lapping. Gets it fine, Amla with the throw, but comfortable single. Eskenazi jogging through.
I forgot what a prolific appealer Batty is. Every ball you feel as though there's almost a wicket. Something's happening.
Turn into the leg side. Eskenazi wants to. They might get the no. Good decision, I think, from Cracknell. Just trying to see who that is herring in. I think it's Jamie Smith, is it? I can't quite see from here, but now on the leg side boundary.
I net quite often on a Wednesday evening with a bunch of boys down at Southwark, and Felix White, people tune into the BBC Tailenders podcast, one of the hosts.
Batty smoked back. Cracknell once again hitting that hard, hitting it straight. Bisects the fielders long on, long off. He's going to get another boundary. 28 he is now, 86 for 1. Sorry, is he?
Felix White is a Gareth Batty mould kind of appealer. Every single ball he thinks, he will tell you that he was almost there. So a reaction after every single ball.
Oh, no need to appeal for that one. I think that has castled him. You don't hit Gareth Batty for 2 fours and get away with it on debut. He's Surrey captain has answered him in style. And now he's having a word with Stevie Eskenazi. Still as combative as ever. Cracknell is on his way for 28. He's played a fine hand, a real cameo from the debutant. But that is a big scalp because it looks like he hits a long ball. He has gone. Middlesex at 86 for 2.
Eskenazi has had a few words with Batty there. I just wonder if he said something as he left the field. Maybe he felt that it was uncalled for against the youngster, but who knows? We don't know what happened out there. But a few words certainly between the two teams. That happens at the heat of the moment.
Yeah, well, my instinct is that Gareth Batty wouldn't have liked the youngster smacking him originally for 4 with the reverse sweep and then the straight drive, and then of course to get him out next ball, knowing Batty, as most of us do, combative, might have given him a little exuberant send off, and Eskenazi wouldn't have enjoyed that. So that's my reading of it from 150 yards away, and it's my best guess, is he?
Well, for somebody, I mean, that's what keeps him going, isn't it? For somebody who's been in the game for such a long time, you need to have that ultra-competitive streak, and I'd say that he has it in huge swathes. Still very competitive, very talented, of course, campaigner.
So John Simpson, the new batsman, that is an indication of what Middlesex are thinking. He just turns into the offside, but Eskenazi sends him back. The fact they're putting Simpson in now suggests that they know this is a tall order. He is their most dangerous striker, probably from here on in. So they're getting him in with plenty of balls, not going to waste him.
Yeah, well, he came in, it was his knock of 30 not out against Hampshire that really brought Middlesex to a competitive total and a winning total in the end. 30 not out of 19 balls. He scored earlier in the season 46 off 31 against Sussex. Strike rate in the format of 129. He's somebody with just a little bit more experience in a difficult situation that can keep that run rate going, but also not sort of feel the pressure too much that perhaps some of the other youngsters, such an imposing total, that run rate, required run rate, over 13 per over now. You feel that Simpson's the one to pull them out of this. It's just him, as this is flung, reached for, wide outside off stump, wide and full. Eskenazi really having to reach far into the offside. Overton not happy with his field placing, bringing up third man. Or are they doing a swap? No, he's doing a swap. He knows who he wants in each position.
Yeah, it's never nice. Never nice when the ball goes past you and the captain or the bowler swaps you out of that position.
Yeah, very particular. Here he comes again. Big thrash of the bat. Missed it. That was wide outside off.
Yeah, interesting tactic. We saw Middlesex go wide outside off to Hashi Mamla, but they did so with two leg side fielders in the power play, so there was no one back. But I think this is quite a good tactic because that leg side boundary is short. Eskenazi's targeted it 3 times now, 3 maximums over that square leg fence, 1 over long on. Just think if they can keep wide outside off stump. And yeah, he might slice it backward of square for 4, but it's going to be tough to hit 6s.
Overton again wide, but shorter this time. Eskenazi rises onto his toes, cuts it through the covers, single out to the man at cover point. Lots of work to do for Middlesex. 89 for 2, chasing 218. 130 runs to win, 57 balls left to do it in. That's a task.
Yeah, it's a really tough ask, isn't it? You said get to halfway and see where you're at. Well, they're probably behind where they want to be. They're not out of it by any means. They'd probably like to be around about 100.
Overton to Simpson off the mark. Oh, they should have come back for 2. I think Simpson wanted it, but Eskenazi was slightly slow out of his crease. And again, we talked about the difference between these two sides, that fielding element. Middlesex is sloppy, a little bit careless perhaps in the field. Sorry, you've been right on the money.
Yeah, 218 could have been kind of 2.5, couldn't it? 2.5, 2.10, certainly. 3 or 4 misfields that were costly.
Overton to Eskenazi. Pulls us into the onside. Is there going to be a man underneath it? My goodness, what an effort that was. Flying through the air, diving to his left. He couldn't make it, so he doesn't get the catch. He hits a 6 instead, and it means that Eskenazi, instead of being out, has brought up his 50.
Yeah, he had another 50 for Stevie Eskenazi in this 2020 Blast campaign. He's 4th. What an effort, though, from Rory Burns. We've seen him in the slips for England, haven't we? He's a fine fielder, diving away, but he flung himself to his left. He was horizontal, flicked off his hand and onto the boundary rope for a maximum for Eskenazi. So he's standing here, Stevie Eskenazi. He's outside off stump. He knows that Overton wants to bowl wide to him.
Overton full, thrashes it into the offside, straight to backward point. Eskenazi's 50, brought up inside 27 balls, 5 6s. Neat return. They'll need to carry on if Middlesex are going to get anywhere near this total. 96 for 2, they need another 123 runs for the next 9 overs.
Yeah, you think these two are key, Izzy? You think Eskenazi, you're quite right. If they're going to have any aspirations at all of chasing down such a large target, you think he's got to probably go through to 100. Simpson's got to play a fine hand too. This left-right combination key.
Batty into Simpson. pushing off his back foot. Single out backward point.
Gareth Batty, he's going to bowl quick. He's going to bowl into the pitch. He's going to bowl pretty straight here, I would think.
Full. Eskenazi turns it into the onside. Batty fielding off his own bowling. Just get the feeling there's sort of implicit nod between the two Middlesex batters. They know it's going to have to be those two get the bulk of these runs. Big thrash of the bat by Eskenazi. Or Simpson has got his first six. Out to cow corner, left-hander. Has timed that beautifully, placed it beautifully. As a man out at long on, man out at mid-wicket. Plopped it between the two. Just over the boundary rope. Six more, 104 for two. Batty again, straight away. Almost the identical delivery, identical shot. Consecutive sixes to Simpson. He moves to 14, 110 for two.
Well, it's poor bowling from Gareth Batty, you have to say. He's vastly experienced. I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to bowl it hard into the pitch, try and skid it through. He doesn't want to bowl it floaty, so he gets swept over there.
This one's pushed into the offside, dot ball.
Batty just feeling his hamstring. You just wonder whether these 42 years just catching up with him. He's going over that, stretching that left hamstring as an off spinner. You go up and over that front leg, just clutching at the back of it. You just feel sometimes when you get into your late 30s, 40s, every now and again there's a game, there's a bowling innings, it might be just one too far. And Batty looks in some discomfort. You won't want to give up though, especially having been doinked for two sixes. He'll want to fight back. That's his nature.
One more ball left of this 12th over. Here he comes. No, he's pulled out. He can't. He really wanted it. He really wanted to carry on. But I don't know if it's his hamstring. Calf muscle.
He's going to try. He's going to try one more time, I think. This is a big moment in this match because he's also the captain, remember. He pulls the strings out there. They've got other options, of course. Rory Burns is captain the championship side. Led Surry to championship success. Ben Folkes could do it.
Batty is going to try and bowl it. He does. He darts it back down and it's a dot ball. What an effort from the Surrey skipper. But you'd have thought that that's going to be the last that we see of Gareth Batty tonight. And it means that after 12 overs, Middlesex are 110 for two.
So that's Gareth Batty. Looks like he's going to wander off the field, is he? He's reversing, he's jogging off, but yeah, you can tell by the way he's limping. That is a left hamstring. He was stretching it. It's unlike him to bowl two long hops, so perhaps he was hampered by that hamstring all along. But that's going to be the end of his evening. Interesting to see who pulls the strings. Interesting to see how that will affect Surrey morale. For Batty's sake and Surrey's sake, I hope that's not how he bows out and finishes his career.
Eskenazi on strike, Overton towards him. Shouts of catches, sailing, flying through the air, back at a point, but I'll get four for it. We've had a few boundaries, couple of sixes in the previous over, a four now, and you just feel, even though that required run rate is up there, above 13 runs and over, that with Eskenazi in, seeing them like this, and support from Simpson at the other end, Middlesex, might they just?
Yeah, momentum just changing a bit in this match, is you're quite right. Batty hobbling off, almost symbolic at the changing tide of this match. What can Overton do about it? Short and wide, he's been punished.
Eskenazi, 55 not out. Fuller, flayed over backward point, one bounce four. This is the form that we've seen Eskenazi in the whole way through this tournament. He's had a cracking time of it so far. Top of the Middlesex averages, top of the Middlesex strike rate pretty much. I mean, Holden's at 150, Eskenazi at 149s. And this one is an important knock from the Red Ball skipper.
Yeah, and I wonder with the confidence of Jamie Overton, big money move to Surrey. He's only bowled 5 overs in this competition, no wickets for 63. That's an economy rate of 12.6. So we talked, didn't we, about Martin Anderson not having bowled much and his economy rate. Well, ditto that for Jamie Overton.
Makes room for himself, Eskenazi, moves really wide into the offside. It's a full one, he guides down to third man, moves to 60, 119 for 2.
Of course, what Jamie Overton has got is express pace. Sometimes that can work against you as a bowler in this format. See the way Eskenazi just opened the blade, used the pace of Overton, going to get it backward of point. The last 3 balls have all gone down in that direction. A couple of boundaries and a single. What has Overton got by way of change-up? Not seen too much, other than the quick one.
Incredible as well to think that his first 4 deliveries were dot balls. Before he saw that massive 6 from Joe Cracknell, as this one's banged hard into the turf. Simpson gets on top of it. Doesn't time it. Mid-wicket racing in from the boundary. Single to the total.
This is where the left-right combination is key, because Eskenazi, if he gets that delivery, that short one, that banged-in ball, he's got the leg side boundary, the short tab-and side boundary, he can just swivel on it, pull it for 6. Simpson, facing the spinner from the far end, can target the short boundary by virtue of being left-handed. So this is key partnership. Good move from Stuart Law and the brains, throwing Simpson into the mix.
Eskenazi waits, leaves it. Don't see that often. I wonder, was he angling for a wide? It wasn't that wide.
No, he's just got it all under control. He just can leave. He can leave the odd delivery. We've gone along quite nicely last few balls. I think he overthought it. He was walking outside off stump to start with, which he's done a couple of times. He's saying to Overton, I know you're trying to bowl wide. I'm going to come across to make it into a straighter ball that I can pick up on that leg side. So he walked out outside the off stump, then he walked back, then he rather confused himself and left it.
Maybe.
And chuckled as well as he went past.
Or I'll go with the MS Dhoni theory of just, I'll leave a few balls and I'll smash it to smithereens. Eskenazi, this one he does get hold of, and this is careered into the offside. 3 or 4 rows back in the grandstand. That's a beautiful looking shot. Goes the distance. He's now scored 6 sixes this evening, 126 for 2.
Well, you can pay him no greater compliment, can you, than MS Dhoni-esque. Because he was
as well, isn't it? They just stand there, dot, 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 dot.
Yeah, because they know
they explode.
They know they can hit the 6s, and Eskenazi's in that kind of form. He's hit a bucket load of them. 6 of them now for Eskenazi. 2 4s, 6 6s in his 66. Which is tough to say, actually. 6 6s in his 66.
Wow, there's the equation. 93 from 42. They've got 8 wickets left. Eskenazi's in on 66. Simpson there at the other end on 15. He's on strike now. This one he's pushed into the offside, and my goodness, I say he's pushed it. It's a 1 bounce 4, wide of long off. That was such a weird shot. I just thought it hung in the air. It might plug, fall in front of the fielder, but it went all the way down to the boundary edge.
It's the power of John Simpson. He's not a big man. He's wiry, strong, isn't he? He's just like a guy that would bench press more than you'd think in the gym. Just timed it over extra cover.
Jacks. Down to Simpson. Plugs it to long on. So we've seen Gareth Batty have to retire from the field with a crooked hamstring. He's got his younger model in to replace him.
Yes, half his age, 21 years of age. He's been the standout bowler so far, Will Jacks. First 3 overs costing just 14 runs.
Eskenazi pushing this into the onside. They're looking at 2, but the fielder does well to charge in from the boundary at mid-wicket. Stops them coming back for another.
Topley at 9.5s. Jacks at just over 4.5s at the start of this over. And then Batty and Overton at 12s. Moriarty 11.5s.
Jacks full. And there's a stumping appeal. It's a wide ball. Simpson had a big stride. Flayed at the ball. That's all right for Middlesex. Don't mind that one.
It's cat and mouse, isn't it? Jacks going wide outside the off stump, bowling it slowly, trying to entice the slog sweep from Simpson. You try and slog sweep a ball that wide, you put it straight up in the air if you get anything of it.
Comes again. Dart-like delivery. Pushes Simpson onto his toes, thinking of 2. Call from Eskenazi, stops him coming back. 2 balls left of this 14th over. Eskenazi waits. Carves it into the offside, back at a point. Man on the boundary, gets it in. Single for Middlesex. Still an ominous looking run rate. Just under 14 per over required. They're batting well, but they need to carry this through.
Trying to see who's captaining out there. Is it Burns? Is it Folkes?
I thought it was Burns.
Burns has moved himself, or has been moved into the ring. So perhaps that's an indication that it is Rory Burns.
Final ball of this Jack spell. It's a dot ball. It's a good way to end it for the Surrey man. He ends his 4 overs, 23 off them. No wickets, but that's not a bad return at all in this high-scoring match.
Yeah, it's a potential man of the match performance, isn't it? From Will Jacks. Quick fire, 55 with the bat. Decent performance with the ball. Just a reminder to keep your votes coming in and your thoughts coming in at Middlesex _CCC for the Knight Frank player of the match. Stevie Eskenazi could be on course. Perhaps some late order fireworks from someone who's yet to come in to get Middlesex over the line. John Simpson also in contention at the moment. But tell us what you think of the stream, Middlesex's campaign so far, and this match we're seeing tonight. We'd love to have you with us, but in your absence, in the flesh, do get in touch.
Just had a word that Joe Cracknell's 6 that was hit into the top of the scorer's box is on social media, so if you're on Twitter, Facebook, go and have a look at it. It's a sight to behold.
Just looking at where Stevie Eskenazi's standing here, he is moving around his crease, but at times, as the bowler's about to run in, he's standing almost a foot outside off stump, and then he kind of wanders back in line. So the plan here is going to be wide outside off stump, you'd think, from Reece Topley. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of sweep.
Here he comes, 15th over. Slow at delivery. Really well contained there from Topley. Eskenazi almost following the ball round, but it brings up the 50 partnership. 27 balls, Eskenazi 21 of them, Simpson 28. That's what they needed, that's what they still need. Something like that to come again. Run rate very much now up at the 14s, 14.2 per over. Topley, top of his mark, certainly in conversation with, I think, his stand-in captain, Rory Burns. Goes out to long on. Left-handed Simpson on strike. Full toss. Pushed into the onside. Coming back for 2. It's a minimum, really, for Middlesex. Simpson to 23, 100. 38 for 2. Topley, floodlights blaring down. Short ball, shouts of catch, lands short. Didn't get hold of that one, Simpson.
Yeah, good over this from Topley, isn't it? Showing all his experience. Keeping the ball away from that leg side when Eskenazi's on strike and bowling nice and straight to Simpson. When the lefty faces up, bowling to his field, bowling to a plan. Middlesex need a boundary.
Round the wicket, full, carved into the offside Eskenazi. There's a man out at backward point. He's done a really good job out there. Not only saved a boundary, but stopped them coming back for 2. Eskenazi 70, 140 for 2. Run rate, required run rate creeping up.
It's tough to stay patient, isn't it? But you've still got to accept that Reece Topley might not be the man that you get the big over from.
Full again, well bowled. Simpson digs it out. Out to Burns at long on. Another 1 to the total. This is really good bowling from Topley.
We can't afford here as a wicket. There's going to be other bowlers that have to come back into the fold. Atkinson or a Moriarty. Maybe they're the ones that you've got to take down.
Final ball of his 15th. Topley aborts, pulls out of his run-up, and my goodness, just looking at Eskenazi, he stood about 3 stumps outside off stump.
Yeah, he wants to get this one away, doesn't he? He wants that length ball that he can flick into the leg side. He's got fine leg up, got square leg up, so if he can get a straight ball that he can flick over the leg side for 4 or 6, that's what he's looking for. Topley knows that.
Final ball then, and this one he thrashes into the onside. That's going to be 4. Flat batted swats towards cow corner, in control. That's why we've seen him time and time again move across the off stump, and it means that after 15 overs, Middlesex are 145 for 2. That's going well. Eskenazi in on 74, Simpson on 25, but they need to carry that on because they're going to need to get another 74 runs in the next 5 overs, so 30 balls to do it in. Run rate required of just under 15 per over. It's a steep ask. This is the partnership that can do it for Middlesex if they're going to get there. Has to be these two, really.
And this could be the key matchup from a Middlesex perspective. Simpson trying to take down the left arm spinner Moriarty. You'd think he'd want to go wide outside off stump. This could pick out long off. It's gone for 6. What a shot from John Simpson. It's about 300 yards away from where we're watching this game. And when he hit it, it looked like it was straight down his throat. That is where you go to the gym in the winter, because that is the difference between 6 and out. And that could be the difference between Middlesex winning this game and not. Looked like it was going to go straight down his throat, and it crept over. Not a good looking shot from Simpson, but he picks out extra cover. Rory Burns. Good bowling for Moriarty. Simpson will just want to be able to get under this to the leg side, to that short boundary. This time it's up, and this will be out. Taken at backward point. That is the end of John Simpson. Might that be the end of the match? Well, there's Eskenazi there. There's hope for Middlesex, but that is a big wicket from a Surrey perspective. Simpson goes for a very fine 31. And Middlesex are 151 for 3. Well bowled, Daniel Moriarty.
Yeah, well bowled indeed. Just when you thought Middlesex were creeping back in it, you saw the cameras pan to the players on the bench, to Stuart Law, the head coach. There's a little bit of hope, a flicker of that. You feel that remains so long as Eskenazi's at the crease, but his ally there in Simpson means that it's going to be the young guns that have to do it alongside him. Davies then to the crease. Young Jack Davies, 20 years of age.
Well, it was a ballsy bowling change, wasn't it? Moriarty, left arm spin to the left-handed batsman with a short leg side boundary. But he got it full, he got it wide. He got his man. Eskenazi once again tipping into the leg side. Davies looks quick. Doesn't want the 2 though. Smith out there, I think. Was it Atkinson? Yeah, really quick field. Really quick in the field, Surry. I guess that's the only thing with Gareth Batty going off. You get a young whippersnapper on. Left-handed Davies into the leg side, pick up a single. And this is turning out to be a very good over for Surry. There's a 6 off the first ball. He's bounced back in style. Well, Daniel Moriarty, Stevie Eskenazi just flips the bat. He knows that was not his best effort off the last ball, just trying to turn it into the leg side. What I like about Eskenazi and the way he's paced this innings is he just kind of hits himself in the grill, just trying to get himself going.
Gee himself up.
Yeah, trying to G himself up. But what he hasn't done, he hasn't thrown it away. All the while he's there, they're a chance. They're not a big chance, but they're a chance. He gets out, the game's well and truly gone. So he has to find that balance. And I think he will be looking to take down Jamie Overton. He's done it before, he did it earlier in the piece. Davis's job from this end is to get Eskenazi back on strike. So here he comes, the big fast bowler. He's recently moved from Somerset. And Davies does just that, turns it into the leg side. He's scampering. Settle for the single. Great bit of work from Ben Folkes. That's what Middlesex need. They need Eskenazi facing Overton.
Yeah, a moment of hesitation there. Thinking about coming back for the 2, but actually this could be quite a good result, having Eskenazi there. Overton got hit with 36 off his first 3. It's going at quite some rate, and Eskenazi especially took a liking to him.
Yeah, they've taken him for 12s. They're going to need to take him for more than that. The required rate is edging up towards 17. So you think the time is now. Eskenazi will be targeting the leg side. Look at the field. There's a deep backward point, a deep point, and a third man. This is going to be wide outside his off stump. Stay away from that leg side boundary. Eskenazi cuts. Picks out one of those 3 fielders on the offside. Good bit of bowling. Some good field placing, we think, by Rory Burns, who seems to be pulling the strings out there.
Yeah, just saw Eskenazi running through, tilt his head to the heavens. Frustration there. He knows that it's going to have to go and much more than run a ball. About 3 a ball really now.
The advantage for a batsman when you get a field like that is you know where the ball's going to be. You know it's going to be wide outside off stump. It's one thing knowing where it's going to bounce or pitch, is do something about it. Davis flicking into the leg side. That went quickly. It's just going to be another single. And with every single, so the rate climbs.
Does indeed. 63 required to win. 21 balls to do it. Slipping away here for the home side. 7 wickets now, and Eskenazi at the crease. Doable, yes. Likely. Less and less.
Well bowled, Jamie Overton. They're going to get another single. Eskenazi getting right across outside off stump. Desperate to target that leg side. Overton got it in the block hole. The 4th single from this over. And the rate continues to climb.
Yeah, that's such a good piece of bowling. You think we saw the 6th at the beginning of that Moriarty over, and then it's been dot wicket, 2 runs. 2 further runs that over against him, and then 3 singles so far. It's changed a lot since then.
Can Davis help Eskenazi out? Turns it into the leg side. It's going to be the 5th single of the over. It's a very good one from a Surrey perspective. Jamie Overton.
Six runs off the last 9 deliveries. It's exactly what Surrey wanted, Middlesex didn't. It's almost up there at having to score at 20 runs per over. Dear.
This has got to go over the rope. And it doesn't. Overton picks up, throws. If it hits, he's gone, and Eskenazi is gone. Great bit of work from Jamie Overton. Completes a fine over, and Eskenazi drops his bat. And does he drop the game for Middlesex? He's played a fine hand, 77 from 43 deliveries. Terrific innings from him. But with his dismissal, the game looks like it might be up for Middlesex.
Yeah, what a reply there from Overton. We said first 3 overs went for 36. That final one going for just 5, and with the run out as well. Eskenazi, well applauded off the field by Middlesex teammates, Surry, support staff alike. It's been a joy to watch. But you feel for Middlesex, now that he's gone, it's just too much of an ask for the youngsters there at the crease. Looks like it's Martin Anderson walking out. A lot of potential, a lot of firepower.
Yeah, a word for Jamie Overton as well. That was a fine over when his team needed it most. You know, he hasn't been in the best of bowling form. He's made the big move from Somerset to Surrey, all kinds of pressure, and he's getting smoked around the home of cricket by Eskenazi and co. And when his team needed him, he stepped up. He's a big man, got down and ran him out. As Moriarty continues. He's going to be bowling to Anderson, the new batsman, pushes to extra cover. Rory Burns content to let him have a single. Just when they needed to, Surrey have tightened the noose. Davies, well, he's got his short leg side boundary. That's what he's going to have to hope for. Targets that leg side, is in the gap. He's only going to get a couple for it. It was a good looking shot. As the fielder slips on the deep mid wicket fence.
Yeah, just plugged, didn't it? Quite got the firepower.
Tries the reverse sweep. Just a hint of desperation for Middlesex at the moment. Tough ask for the most experienced of campaigners, and you've got a couple of young fellas out there in the middle at the moment. Wouldn't have seen this too many times. That could work. Little inside edge, Amler's after it. They're going to get at least 2. He flicks it back. Reece Topley completes the fielding. That has been a point of difference this evening. Surrey have been sharp in the field. Middlesex not quite at their best. I'm sure it'd be the difference of 20 or 30 runs, mind. Davis goes aerial. He's just going to pick out long off, and that is another wicket, and these wickets are going to come thick and fast now as Middlesex throw the long handle, attempting the impossible. Bad luck, Jack Davis. Had no option, really. 4s and 6s are the only way for Middlesex to prosper. And he's on his way. He's gone for 8. And this game, Izzy Westbury, I think, might be up.
Yeah, well, Moriarty as well. You felt as though that was the sort of the real, the turning point when he hit. It was Simpson who hit that 6 off his first ball of his 3rd over. Just about cleared the boundary long off. And you thought, right, Middlesex have a chance here. You've got Simpson in. You can time shots like that. You've got Eskenazi going great guns at the other end. But then since that 6, we saw Simpson fall 2 balls later. And then all Middlesex have managed to do is dot singles and 2 here and there. No boundary since.
Moriarty in again. Anson once again picks out Burns an extra cover, just the single. And that completes the 18th over. 164 for 5.
It's doing a disservice to Surrey's total to say that that was the turning point, but certainly that was the point in which perhaps any hope slipped from Middlesex's grasp. Oh well. We're going to see Reece Topley, he's bowled 3 overs, 29 runs. Anderson, a bit of fun at least at the crease.
Yeah, these are difficult times as a batsman when you pretty much know the game's up. I've been there myself at the end of an innings. You know you haven't quite got the firepower to get your team over the line. You've got to try your best. Middlesex know this is now a lost cause. Martin Anderson, can he find the fence? Full ball from Topley. He just knocks it into the offside. Going to get a single. I guess there are some positives though. Middlesex will take to that game at Canterbury on Wednesday. 3 away matches. This is the last game at Lord's. And if they can win those 3, then they are still a chance of progressing from the South Group. And there have been some positives. Young players have acquitted themselves well. Tremendous batting from Eskenazi, Simpson, the emergence of Joe Cracknell on debut. So it's not all doom and gloom as Middlesex try out these young players. They run into Surry, a good Surry side tonight. Topley bowling. Holman, the new batsman. Once again, just a single. And you can see how difficult it is to start. Eskenazi was in, he was going well, he was timing the ball. When you have to walk out in these situations and face the likes of Overton and Topley and the canny spinner in Moriarty, you're a tail ender, middle order player, not easy. Anderson swings leg side, doesn't get all of it. Be the single. Jacks does the fielding. I guess the only other thing to play for at the moment is the old net run rate. I'm not quite sure whether that could be a factor. Top 2 from each of the 3 groups will qualify, and then the best 2 third-place sides. And you could imagine there being level on points, possibly level on wins, somewhere along the line. So the closer you can get, the better your net run rate will be. There's Topley into Holman, slices away on the offside. Once again, it's just going to be the single.
Good bowling here from Topley. Just having a look at that table, South Group table. I think you can say of Middlesex, if they're going to make it into the quarterfinals, they've got to do it by beating the table toppers, Kent, Sussex as well.
Anderson chips over extra cover. Can I get a couple this time? Holman will scurry back. 2 runs won't worry Surry too much as Folks collects.
Kent top of the table, 10 points. Sussex there on 9. Surrey will actually overtake Sussex at this stage. I don't think they'll quite have the run rate of Kent. We'll see when everything settles down. Middlesex will be in the tranche below.
Slow ball from Topley, hammered down the ground from Anderson. Time this one. Burns has dropped himself back to long off. And once again, it is a single. So we've got to just do the maths. How many required off this last over?
I think it is 48.
48. So get your skates on, you've got to run hard.
Yeah.
I hope for a few no balls, free hits and all sorts. So just try and have a little bit of fun. Ordinarily, you bat first, 171 for 5 going into the last over. Maybe they'll look back at the option to field first, Stephen Finn. I think maybe it wasn't the right call, but good sides. If they're going to progress, you've got to learn to win, chasing as well as setting. Short ball hammered by Anderson. Let's see who this is. Is it Atkinson back into the attack?
Like mist just flooding the ground. Dewy mist. Floodlights, full beam, pitch black sky above us. It's a lovely way to end things at Lord's, this T20 Blast.
Holman swings away onto the offside. Doesn't get much of it. Bit of a bottom edge. Out it goes for a single. Just think if there had been 28,000 people in watching this, they would have left probably with a bit of drink inside them, having had a thoroughly entertaining evening. One or two might have started to filter away from the ground now as this contest is to all intents and purposes over. They do tend to hang around. As Atkinson comes in again, he's bowling to Martin Anderson, and that's the first boundary we've seen for a while. Just helps it over the short fine leg fielder. Do himself no harm if he can hit a few boundaries. Finish with 20 or so. He's 12 at the moment.
Yeah, I think that was the first boundary since we saw that 6 off from Simpson many moons ago, it feels like now. Yeah, and the 16th over, and now the 20th. That's where it all dried up, last 5 overs.
There's a bit of a misfield out there as I think batsmen nearly run into each other. It's just got a slightly anticlimactic feel to it at the moment. Just think both these sides are quite happy for this game to be over now. What's happened here? Umpire Rob Bailey has his arm out, does he? Is he signalling? It's free hit, it's a no ball. Atkinson has overstepped. It's a free hit, and Middlesex could do with about 6 more of these. No ball free hits. This won't please Alex Stewart and the Surrey management. They'll want to win this as well as they can. Atkinson to Anderson. Down the leg side. This is going to be a wide. Maybe this game isn't over, is he? Atkinson has 15 minutes or so of the yips, and it's game on.
Doing his part and keeping a contest alive. I'd like to see that. Very sporting of him.
Running in a bit slower now. This one is straighter and he's nailed down the ground by Anderson. Going to get a boundary, is he? No, good bit of fielding. Long on just knocks it to his mate at long off. Anderson got a good piece of that one. Atkinson trudges back to his mark. Again, it's Anderson into the leg side. I think they'll just settle for the second. Another misfield. So, where has this been? So, we're just commending Surrey on how well they fielded, perhaps getting a little bit dewy. And this time they come back for 3. And that can happen when the game's up. Fielders know that the job is done. Just taking their foot off the gas a little bit. But, useful runs for Anderson.
The required run rate is 192 runs an over.
Yeah, good luck. It's good that it works it out that quickly. I know you're looking at the board, you didn't just do that calculation. I know you're clever, but...
Always kid.
Shh. Atkinson to Holman to finish things off, and Holman just knocks it into the legs.